Just wait. The host of Get Business Credit YouTube channel is about to go live on YouTube Cast to answer all your business credit building questions. Our host, Joshua Van Horn, is here for you during these tough times. But together, as we unite as one, we will get through this and build and rebuild business credit. Subscribe and hit the bell notification if you haven't already done so. Josh is about to take YouTube by storm, and you don't want to miss.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Get Business Credit YouTube channel. But we have a lot to go over. I got maybe 20 different sites to go over tonight about business credit. Basically, we're going to cover how to get approved for the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard, what you need to do, why a lot of you guys are getting denied, that you guys try to go after that prematurely. And we're going to go over why you're getting denied and the prerequisites that you need to take ahead of time to position yourself not only to get approved, but to be able to get approved with a high limit, $10,000, $20,000, $25,000. It is the only no PG, no personal guarantee revolving MasterCard really in existence. There's other cards, certain fintech ones that are out there, but this is really the only true no PG revolving MasterCard in existence. So we're going to go over that, and then that's underwritten through Synchrony. And with Synchrony, one of the things you need to do is position yourself with the interbanking relationship. It's not about 100% about just your business credit. They do look at the business credit. That's a primary factor. But what helps is having the interbanking relationship, like getting the ConocoPhillips revolving business gas card. That's no PG out there as well. But then like Floor and Decor used to be underwritten through Community. Now they transitioned to Synchrony as well. But just recently is when they opened up applications where you can actually apply on Floor and Decor's website to get that. Before that, you had to actually go in the store and get it to do the application. And the same way with the Sam's Club Business MasterCard, you have to do that in store. But I'm going to show you how you can bypass that and do it online. But it does help going into the store, especially with all the fraud going on. It does definitely help approval odds. But not just that, but we're going to cover as well as like the Lowe's, Net 55, and the JC Penney's, also underwritten through Synchrony Bank. I'm going to break down what you need to do to get approved for all these and increase your chances for approval for the Sam's Club PG Business MasterCard, but to get a high limit, because a lot of people, they apply for it prematurely, and then what happens is they get either issued the store card, not the MasterCard, just the store card, and it's like $3,500 to $5,000 limit. Or maybe they get approved for the Sam's Club MasterCard, but then it's a low limit, like $3,500, also to $5,000. And then they try to get a limit increase, and it's hard to get a limit increase when you initially get approved with a small limit like that. But if you get, say, initial MasterCard Sam's Club limit of, say, $10,000, $11,000, it's a lot easier to get the limit increase after, say, 30 to 60 days to, say, 15 or 20,000. So $5,000 to $10,000 increase. It's a lot easier to achieve that rather than you having a low starting limit. We're going to be covering about Synchrony and those different accounts. We're going to be going over as well about some prerequisites that you should already have in place to get business credit and to get funding. Yeah, exactly. Madden said, get your foot in the door. Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to go over the Experian business credit report, what you should be focusing on. If you have NAVs, fine, there's a place for it, but you should really be focusing the most on Experian. And the Experian data that NAV provides for you is very basic data, because NAV doesn't buy the full reports. They only buy the basic data. So you can only see so much. But if you get the Business Experian Advantage account, it's normally $199. We're going to go over also how you can read the Experian report as well. But I'll show you guys this. We're going to go over all of it here shortly. I'm just waiting for more people to tune in, because there's not that many in right now. I think only about 12. There should be a lot more. You guys, please give the video or the live stream a thumbs up. That helps. Hopefully we can get up to 30 or 40 like we had a couple weeks ago. But you can see here, Get Business Credit LLC, and you're going to see this with trade lines. So what you're going to want to do is go to smartbusinessreports.com/Brex. I will have all the links in the description below as well. But you basically want to go to the smartbusinessreports.com/Brex because you're going to get 50% off for the yearly membership. And that comes with like unlimited updates, and you can actually do updates yourself if the rich filmographic data is incorrect or lacking or missing. And we're going to go over that here shortly. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to have that rich filmographic data fully set up on your Experian business profile. That's very important if you're trying to get, say, no PG, Sam's Club, no MasterCard, because they do look at these things. It's not all just about what's on the report or the scores. The rich filmographic data is very vital to try to get approvals. If you have just the raw data, that's say your business name, your business address, registered agent, and say just your zip code, and that's it. That's what's provided by the Secretary of State, the public data, that LexisNexis is constantly daily collecting that data from all the different states. They collect that and then they sell it to, say, Experian and the business credit bureaus. And then when they take that, they implement it into the file to make your BI number, your business identification number. And then that's all it's there. If you go and try to apply for things after that, you're going to get a higher chance of getting denied. So it's really important to go ahead and spend the extra money and get the yearly Experian Business Credit Advantage account. You'll see when you do the search I just did, anybody can search their business name. And when you do that, you're going to see one of two things happen. Either like this, where you're going to see it's not going to have the yellow with trade lines. And that's if it's brand new and there's no trade lines reporting. But you're going to see if you have trade lines, it's going to show, even if you just have nav or whatever, it will show with trade lines. Then you're going to hit proceed. And you're going to see here, if you just go to smartbusinessreports.com and do it, it's the same thing, but it's going to show $199 for the normal. You don't do the Profile Plus report. It's a one-time report. It's a waste. You spend another $50 and you're going to get a year. And plus the $49.95 doesn't give you actually the Small Business Financial Exchange risk rating, and it doesn't give you the real-time alerts. You basically want to buy this. That's first and foremost that I say for everybody. Okay. This would be one of the very first things that you should do when you're trying to build up business credit. I'm going to give all that out tonight. I'm going to give you guys all what I would do and what I teach my students, my one-on-one business credit mentorship students, what I tell them to do for the first, say, couple weeks to build that foundation. I'm going to give it to you guys for free. And we're going to get your pen and papers out, okay, to jot things down because that's important. I will probably have this live stream replay, but we're definitely going to be covering a lot more than I probably ever covered on a live stream, the foundation and what you need to do. If you're just starting off, doesn't matter if you're new or your established business, but if you're really trying to get your business credit built up and get just like I have here, I have this Centurion Black invite only card. Some of it's PG and some of it's no PG, but you can see here, that's a lot of cards. Now, would I suggest all you guys to get those? No, I was the guinea pig. I won't suggest anybody to go after as much as I went after, okay? But I've been the guinea pig and I know how to get approved, even if you're a new business like I did. I started a brand new LLC just for the purpose of the channel to teach it. And I went through all the process. If you look back to the live streams like 5 years ago, you're going to see all the process, how I went about getting everything. Stay away from some of these starter vendors that charge a fee for a membership. Stay away from those. A lot of those don't report. Business credit is not federally regulated. Therefore, you have a lot of these pop-up companies saying, oh, pay a fee, and then you get a net 30 account and you have to pay like a deposit or something. Like, stay away from those. Most of them don't even report at all. Like Red Spectrum, if you guys ever heard of them, stay away from them. It's a waste of money. Summa Office Supplies, Strategic Network Solutions, stay away from those. I don't want to flat out call them scammers, but they are scammers. So stay away from them. Don't waste your money. Things are a lot easier now, I think, with business credit than it was, say, in 2021. Yes, there was a lot of no PG credit lines that you could get, say, in 2021, and there's less now. However, a lot of people didn't understand how to build up business credit properly, and they wasted thousands of dollars getting all these different net 30s and these different accounts. And a lot of those didn't even report. They're very misleading too. So don't waste the money. Like, you don't have to do that. You could just, if you're on a budget, you could start off with just a couple $100. I'd say get NAV, Fair Figure, and eCredible. That will cost you maybe $90 total. Get that starting off. That's going to get you 3 trade lines across all the bureaus. Potentially could get you 6 to 10 if you strategically get the, say, the Fair Figure Capital card and the NAV Prime card. And then on eCredible, if you attach, say, your business cell phone, or even if it's a personal cell phone, you can attach those if you attest that it's used also in part for your business. And eCredible, the sky's the limit. You could get your utility bills, your trash, your electric. You could get all that reported, your gas. All of that can be actually reported to Credit Safe and Equifax. And I guess I want to really stress out to you guys, for those that haven't heard me talk about this before, that you really want to focus the most, depending on what your goals are. Everybody has different goals for their business credit journey and their goals for their overall business plans. But what I'll say is, don't blindly go after trade lines. It's a waste. There's no point to go out and try to get, let's say, like other YouTubers will say, oh, get as many trade lines as you can, get that paydex score. Who cares about scores? Like, scores didn't get me 2.5 million in business credit. Scores don't matter. Scores are only a metric to sell reports, and that's it. It's what's on the report is the most important. Like, I get approved. My biggest approvals were when my scores were actually low. Okay. It's what's on the report is what's important. Okay. And then don't get hung up on Dun and Bradstreet and paydex scores. Dun and Bradstreet is not even used very much by any underwriters, especially since all the self-reporting, all that fraud that happened during COVID. It's really not. A lot of the underwriters, Synchrony no longer even uses Dun and Bradstreet for their financial decision making or approval. You guys get also any questions you guys have, put it in the comment section. I'm going to bounce between what I'm talking about and go over to the comments. So if you guys have any questions, then just put it in the comment section. Sorry, I have like sinuses or something. My nose keeps on dripping a bit. But anyways, strategically go after the credit lines and building up business credit. There's no point to have 10 trade lines that you're only going to use 1 or 2. That actually looks bad on you when you're trying to build up business credit to other underwriters. And that actually does not help your scores at all. I don't want to say scores, but it doesn't really help your. See, scores with business credit can be easily manipulated with any bureau. And what I mean by that is, like Dun and Bradstreet, you only need 3 trade lines and you're going to get an 80 paydex score. Who cares about that? That's not what. If it was that easy, then everybody would be doing it and they would get approvals left and right. But what I hear the most is, Josh, I have the 80 paydex score, I have a 80 or 90 Experian Intel score, and I can't get approved for anything. That's because scores don't really matter in reality. They really don't. Of course, they matter if you have a bunch of negative accounts and you have super high maxed out trade lines, then that does matter. It's a signal, but it's not something that should be overly focused on, because if you focus on the scores, you're not going to get approvals. Focus on what I'm saying. When it comes down to your when you're trying to build up your business credit, get the trade lines that you can actually use, like Sunbelt Rentals, for instance. That trade line's always being pushed on by other YouTubers, and Sunbelt Rentals usually gives 30, 40,000. But for one, they don't report just because you get it. They will report, but they're only going to report to Dun& Bradstreet after you use it consistently for 3 months. But who needs to get a backhoe or a crane? Probably not many of you, unless you're in major construction. Stay away from trade lines that you have no purpose or no use for, okay? I'd much rather have 3 or 4 trade lines that I'm consistently using every month, or especially 3 months straight. That's important when you're building up business credit, to use the trade lines consistently for 3 months straight. And what I mean by that is I'll show you on the sample report here for Experian. You see how it says right here that this is your payment trend summary, right? So then you're going to see here, this is breaking down your continuous payment trends. And you can see how if you're not going to see a lot of these boxes here if you only have 1 or 2 trade lines and they're only being used once. Like you get a U line and you only use it once, you're not going to see all these different boxes. So what you need to do is get the trade lines that you're consistently able to use. So don't get trade lines that you have no use for. But back to what I was saying, it's important also to strategically go after trade lines that is going to help your overall goal for your business credit. So if you're trying to get, say, no PG business auto loan or a fleet of vehicles for Toro or whatever the case may be, then don't focus on building up trade lines that only report to Dun & Bradstreet. See, a lot of people think that when you get a trade line, let's just say office supplies, people think that these trade lines will report to all the bureaus. They don't. They actually only report typically to one bureau, with exception of like bank cards. If you have a personal guarantee bank card, American Express, they report to two different bureaus, and sometimes they will report to 3. It just depends on what actual card it is. But they will report to Small Business Financial Exchange. Small Business Financial Exchange is like a data house, like a nonprofit for all the financial institutions to share their data. And then like Experian can implement that data if they choose to. They don't always do that. But you want to build up, if you're trying to get the no PG business auto loans, you want to build up your Equifax and your credit safe, because a majority, like say Ally Financial, they're like the easiest to get, especially for a new business, to be able to get the PG fleet of vehicles. I think Ally, Ford Motor Credit, and Nissan and Toyota, if I'm not mistaken, all of those pull Equifax. They're all going to pull Equifax as a primary decision factor. And then they may, as an overflow, pull either Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, or Credit Safe. Credit Safe is very important. Credit Safe is actually almost always used as a secondary pull with pretty much any type of credit line that you're trying to go after. If that's your goal, trying to get no PG business auto loans or fleets, then focus on your building up your Equifax. Find the trade lines that are going to help you, that you could use, that are going to be reporting to Equifax and Credit Safe. If you're trying to get, say, equipment leasing or manufacturing credit line, then what you want to do is focus on Dun & Bradstreet. But Dun & Bradstreet's becoming less important. Now, I'm not saying ignore Dun & Bradstreet or ignore certain bureaus. No, but don't put in too much focus on them overall. If you get your Fair Figure, you get your NAV and eCredible, and then maybe 1 or 2 other trade lines, that's enough for Dun & Bradstreet to have that foundation built up, and as well as the other bureaus. So once you have those reporting, then that's when you want to dial in. Do you want to get revolving lines? I'll show you guys here in a moment what my students were able to get. My one-on-one business credit mentorship students, what they were able to get just recently. And it's millions of dollars combined. But most businesses, they need funding, right? And it's a lot easier to get more business credit when you get some funding, initial capital, right? So if you're, say, pre-revenue and you have a new business, or maybe it's a year old, but you're still pre-revenue, you might ask, Josh, how do I get approvals with not showing any revenue? That's when you go down and get, say, I don't teach this publicly just because there's so many scammers and fraudsters out there that I can't put out my strategic methods. I only do that for my one-on-one business credit mentorship students. So if anybody is interested in that, we can do consultation, a free phone consultation tonight after this live stream. Just text the number down there, 937-423-9954. And we can set up, because I have 4 new spots available. I have 12, 16, 26, and 52-week mentorship. And we'll go over that here shortly. But I just wanted to touch base on a couple different things. Don't try to go too aggressive starting off. A lot of people get denied initially. Say the interbanking relationship, they get denied for, I don't want to say Sam's Club because that does happen, but people get denied for the Lowe's, J.C. Penney's, ConocoPhillips revolving gas card. They get denied for those quickly because they put too high of a requested credit limit. There's a field that says optional requested monthly spend or credit limit, and they'll put $10,000 or $20,000, and then they wonder why they get the 7 to 10 day message. But my students, I tell them exactly what to put down to the dollar amount, and 95% of the time they get approved. If I tell them to do something, they follow my direction and they get approved. And I typically, depending on which one it is and what their credit profile looks like, I will tell them to put, say, $3,500 or $2,000. If they're brand new and they're don't really have many trade lines, I tell them to go after J.C. Penney's, but I tell them only to request a $2,000 limit. 95% of the time, they get approved. You can always go back later. Literally, Synchrony is very good about giving limit increases even after 1 or 2 months. Just get your foot in the door. Hit the like button as you enter the chat. Yes, of course. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so NAV is still good, Madden. Not as good as it was because they've changed and don't increase the prices, and they don't do the work with Dun & Bradstreet anymore. But I still would say it's still a good account to get, especially if you get the Prime account, the NAV Prime card, because then you're getting 2 trade lines, and one of them is actually reporting as a financial trade, and it gets reported also to the small business financial exchange. That's a good mix accounts because NAV is going to be reported as a business service. I'll show you that here in a minute in the sample report. Crown Office Supplies is fine. They report to Credit Safe, so that's good because Credit Safe is becoming more relevant and important nowadays, especially as a secondary pool data. They're more like a data warehouse, even though they are a business credit bureau, but they've invested so much money into the actual public data. So they're being used so much for secondary pools to do verification checks, family linkage checks as well. Crown Office Supplies does report to Equifax and Credit Safe. Doc Motivate, out of the trade lines you shared, how many would you put in your business? Put on your business. Everybody's different. Everybody's goals is different, what they're trying to get after. Like I said, if you're trying to get financial, like revolving lines, credit cards, PG, no PG, fintech cards, if you're trying to get actual funding, then you need to focus the most energy into strategically building up your Experian, because your Experian business credit is 99% of the time will always be pulled by all the financial underwriters. Like I said, if you're trying to get manufacturing or industrial supply, cardboard box, packaging tape, then by all means build up your trade lines that report to Dun & Bradstreet. But if you're trying to build up to get, say, a no PG business auto loan or a fleet of vehicles to put, say, on Toro, then you want to build up your Credit Safe and your Equifax. But don't neglect any of them over another. But if you build up that foundation, like I said, getting your Prime, that's 2 trade lines right there. Get your Fair Figure Capital card, that's another 2 trade lines. And then get your eCredible. And also, you guys use my links for any of these in the description, because you're going to get anywhere from 25 to 50% off. And I believe all of them, the code is like GBC 25, but you have to use my link for it to actually give you the discount. But those three, I would say, will get you anywhere from 3 to 12 trade lines right off the bat, depending on how you use eCredible. Okay. So I would say everybody needs to do that. But let's back up and get over to the Experian, because this is something that you guys should do immediately. Okay. So get the Business Credit Advantage Experian. You can get that at smartbusinessreports.com/Brex. You have to use the Brex one for it to give you the 50% off discount, or it's going to be $199. So buy now, get that, and then you're likely not going to see the key personnel, especially if you're a new business. You're not going to see the key personnel. You're not going to see the phone number. You're not going to see a website address, email address. You're not going to see the family linkage. A lot of this you're not going to see. Okay. What you want to do is there's a link that's here in your account that you'll see that says update data. So you click on that blue link, and then what you want to do is put down your email address, your business website address. Like I just had an interview with Aaron, the founder of Fair Figure, and I'm going to release that tomorrow, that video. But like he broke down, he's an underwriter and he's been in this game for many years as well. And like he said, even for his underwriting, the partner bank they work with does all the KYC and everything. You can pass all the checks, but then because you don't have a website, or the website is like a Fiverr website where it's badly put together, loraplism, and just doesn't look very nice, professional, that's a main reason why he's seeing, and I see all the time, people get denied. They could have good business credit and everything and have revenue and all that, but then because they're using a free email address like a Gmail or Yahoo, or their website looks like ridiculous, then that's why you get denied. That's a factor. So it's not all about just building business credit. It's all these different things, like get listed with the Better Business Bureau. No other channel talks about these things that I talk about. You won't hear it from anybody but me. But these things do matter to underwriters. So like getting listed with Better Business Bureau, it doesn't have to be the paid one, but get listed with them. Chamberofcommerce.org, get listed with them. Show Me Local, Merchant Circle, Easy Local, Yex. All these, there's 10 different citations that do play a part in your approvals. And what I mean by that is the manual underwriters, especially say fintechs that give the very high limits, their underwriting team, what they'll do is just search your business name on Google. And if they just see your website or not much information, you don't have a Google local listing, Google My Business listing, that's going to hurt you. It's going to work against you. So you have to think about what the underwriter, what they're looking for, and that's going to help you get approved if you understand what they're looking for. You need to look bigger than you actually are. So get listed on all these sites. They're free. It doesn't cost you any money. You might sign up for them and then you'll get a phone call or something, then trying to upsell you SEO or upsell you the listing. Don't do that. Just say you want the free one. You want to claim the free one. That's it. Nothing else. You don't pay for any of that. There's no necessary benefit at all for that. But get listed on like the 10 different citations, like Yelp, Yahoo Local, Bing Local, have a Facebook business page. Because once you have all that, about a week after you verify and you claim the listing, you can even use ChatGPT and put stock images, a unique description. Don't just claim the listing or get the listing and have it be bare, because that doesn't look good either. So you want to actually put just one or two sentence or a paragraph about your business on, say, the local citation database sites. So these are steps I have all my students do, all my one-on-one business credit mentorship students. I have them do this literally the first 2 weeks. Reason why too is it takes time for those to get indexed in the Google search algorithm. So you don't want to go apply for certain business credit lines or credit accounts prematurely if you're not listed on these databases. These databases are being used not so much by individuals. I don't know that many people that I even go on Yelp anymore. Some people might, but people aren't going on Better Business Bureau or Chamber of Commerce to look up say, a plumber. They don't do that anymore. People just Google, that's it. But the underwriters on business credit, all these, they are, I don't want to say all of them, but a majority of them are going to be doing manual searches. And like I said, especially the fintechs. Divvy, the $150,000 MasterCard I got with them, you better bet during that underwriting process, they did Google my business, of course, and they're looking for those citations. Legitimate real businesses are going to have those citations in place, but they do take about a week. Once you verify the listing, takes about a week to get it indexed into Google. So those are very important. But back to what I was saying about the report, a lot of people are scared to put information. If you're confident for your business and you're not a scammer, it doesn't matter if your credit's good or bad. It doesn't matter, your personal credit. But if you're confident in your business, you shouldn't be hiding behind, oh, I only want no PG. I'm not putting my social on anything. That means you're not going to be successful on business credit. I can tell you that right now. If you're not willing to give your social security number, one, it's required by federal law for a lot of electoral credit accounts. And it doesn't mean they're pulling your credit. It just means they're checking against, say, the LexisNexis databases that say the state, your DMV records, things like that. They're checking to make sure it's a valid person. John Smith in, say, Grove City, Ohio, it does really exist, and it's not just fake or alias or something. So this is a make or break part when you're trying to get your, say, higher credit lines and say the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard. They're going to be pulling your Experian. This definitely helps you get approved. You see this key personnel, most students or those that I do consultations or mentorship with, I'll pull their credit and they'll notice that there's no key personnel for their business. When you submit your updates within the Experian account, you're going to see a drop down of like 20, 30 different titles. So what I suggest, always put your name as the key personnel. You can put your name as CEO or owner or co-owner, operator, whatever. They give you many different titles you can choose from. And then put your wife or your husband down as, if they are part of the business, then also put down as co-owner or vice president. But then if you have somebody that, say, works for you, employer or something, put their name down. It's not going to reflect anything on them. It's not going to hurt anything for them. You put them down as even a secretary you can put down. So put their name down as a secretary or office manager. So when Experian does the update and they see 2 or 3 names being listed under key personnel, think about it from an underwriter's perspective. When they pull your business credit and they see all this extra information that's normally not there, if it's just blank, then it's making the underwriting process a little tougher for them to have to start digging a little bit more into, say, citations data, secondary databases, credit safe, and all that. But if you have everything on point with your rich filmographic data, such as key personnel, and you have a couple names down on there, that's going to make it look good to the underwriter. They're going to feel more comfortable. And then your SIC code and your NAC code, make sure that's not high risk. Even if you're in, say, real estate, that's high risk, or you're in trucking, that's high risk. So there's thousands of codes you can actually pick. So don't be broad of just putting real estate or holdings company. Stay away from those codes. You could actually use more any codes. Those are very narrow codes, meaning that within real estate, you could be having, say, their subcodes, say property management is lower risk than it would be, say, just a broad code such as just real estate. Okay. So there's different codes within the same niche. That's not like you're lying. You could just pick one of these lower risk codes to offset the industrial risk rating. Okay. And I cover all this with all my one-on-one business credit mentorships. I'll go over that here in a moment. But if anybody's interested in doing a consultation, even tonight after the live stream, just text the number below 937-423-9954, and we can go over all this. But what I do with all my students is I do a full audit on their business credit reports, and I look for any of these things, and we get them updated and fixed properly. Then your fundability rating is going to go up. Like I said, you want to look bigger than you are. Under sales, you don't want to put anything there. You don't want to submit anything to them. It's really none of Experian's business or anybody's business for that matter. But I would say if you're doing millions per year, or not even millions, even if you're doing, say, over 500,000 a year, then I would input that data to Experian. But you do need to show P&L statements to be able to show that, because they don't just put and take your name for or your. Now, one thing I want to talk about too is time in business. A lot of people that contact me, they say, "Oh, I have bad personal credit," or "I'm brand new, I'm pre-revenue. How can I get business credit approvals?" You can. There's strategic methods that I only teach my students because, like I said, I would put it out there publicly. However, the only way I do that is if I knew there wasn't scammers or fraudsters out there. But there are a lot of scammers and fraudsters out there. There's probably a couple watching my live stream right now that are just looking to never pay back these credit lines if they're no PG. That's what happened a lot in 2021 during COVID and whatnot. So with my students, I teach how you can actually take some initial credit lines that you get approved for. I don't want to say liquidate, but that's a strategic method. But there's a way that you can take those approvals and help position yourself to look healthy enough to get these approvals from the fintechs. So then it's basically like you're using one credit line that you initially get and turn that, say, initial $5,000 or $10,000 credit line into 30, 40, 50,000. And then you take that 40, 50,000 credit line approval and turn that into $150,000 credit approval. And you can do that if you know what you're doing strategically. Do you have to do those strategic methods? No, but I can teach them, but I only teach them to my students just because they will be abused and it will hurt the legitimate people. But anyway, so there's also area under phone that's going to say website and email address. This is so important, and you don't want one of those tacky websites either. So I partner with Ewan, and this is, let me see here. Let me pull up the sample here. So the link was actually in the description below, but I just want to cover this real quick. For anybody that has a bad website or don't have a website, this is something that's very important. You don't have to use my partnership that I have with them. You could build your own or go on Fiverr. But however, there are a lot of them on Fiverr you get for $50 or $100. A lot of those are just templates that are being reused over and over, and they look tacky. They don't look nice. But we did a partnership, and I forfeited the commissions that I would typically get. But I have them, they typically charge $5.99, and I worked out a deal where they're only charging $149, and then you just pay. That's basically to build your custom website, right? And they're professional, and they know exactly, if you use my link, they know exactly what I expect out of them. So you don't have to tell them. They already know how I want the footer, because the underwriters are going to look at the footer of the website. The footer is the bottom part. So I'll show you down here. This is the footer. This is the footer. You're not going to see on this one like what I'm talking about. I'll show you here in a moment. Let's look at a sample and I'll show you. I hope you guys aren't getting bored by this. And if you already have a website, don't worry about it. We'll go fast forward here in a moment. I just wanted to cover, make sure that if you already have a website, fine, that's great. But make sure that you have the layout the proper way, like I'm explaining here. So let's look at one of the samples, right? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you have a website now, make sure you have this foundation set up, because this is what underwriters are going to look for. This isn't actually a very good sample. Let me see here. Where'd it go? Okay, this is a good one, I think, here. I'll get to the comments here in a minute. But at the top out, it says like 715 Merchant Street, Sacramento, California. So this structure is important. And then the phone number. That's very important. So that's like also your rich firmographic data for your website. So like your website, your business credit report, all these have different rich firmographic data. That's what I call it, at least. But you want to look very professional like this. You don't have to have a lot of employees, but just look bigger than you are. But see how at the bottom here, how it says the business name, specialist, phone number, email address, and it should have the address, but there's no address here. But you want to have the format like this. So a lot of sites don't have this. So if you have a website already, but you don't have the footer looking like this, just add it. Have your designer or whatever, your IT person, have them add it like this, and make sure the full address is there, and make sure it's matching what's on your Experian business credit report. Okay, this is the rich firmographic data. This actually correlates too with SEO. So if you're trying to rank, say you have a plumbing business and you're trying to rank for Sacramento plumbers or Sacramento locksmith, this is one of the SEO parts to rank on Google to get free business, basically. And as well as those citations I talked about, getting listed on Yex or Merchant Circle or Chamber of Commerce, those are citations. So all those citations you want being linked back to your actual business website, and you want it basically going full circle. So it's not just for underwriting, but Unit knows that how I want the websites set up. They will let you, basically what happens is you're going to pay the $149 to get signed up with them, but make sure you use the code GBC to get that $450 off. Like it says, use that upon checkout. And then they'll have an area where you're going to schedule like a calendar link, and you'll schedule a call with them, and it may be a couple days out, but during that onboarding call, they're going to ask you several questions and show you a couple samples, and then you tell them what you like, and they're not going to stop working for you. That's what's included for that 149. They're not going to stop working for you until you're 100% happy with the design. And then also after it's live and it's on your website, then you're just going to pay the $16.99 per month. It's not much. And you can get this actually reported as a business trade line as well. I can show you how to do that. So that $16.99 a month can be reported as a trade line to Equifax and CreditSafe. Like anything you buy for your business or you're doing for your business, try to make it count as a trade line much as possible. Even like my one-on-one business credit mentorship for my students, I report to CreditSafe and Equifax as a business service, just like NAV does. I report my mentorship students, even if they did a one-time payment or they did a payment plan, I still report it monthly. Every month it gets updated and reports as a business service trade line. But anyways, $16.99 a month is basically your website hosting, and it also includes your business email address. So if your business site is abclocksmith.com, then you're going to have John at abclocksmith.com, or info or contact, whatever you want. It comes with the email addresses. I believe you get 3 free email addresses with it, and they get that all set up for you. So that's going to help you get approved for fintechs and certain underwriters, because they're going to look and make sure your business website is professional looking. Okay. But you can, for the $16.99 a month, it's the hosting and email addresses included, but that also includes if you need any updates, it's free. So say you want to change some content on your website, or you want to add products or add a service or add an employee profile or something. You just tell them you have your account manager, and they will get the updates done for you for free. It doesn't cost anything. Most website designers, they charge you a fee every time you need to update something. It could be $50, $100 just to get something updated. But with Union, they're not charging anything. It's just that one fixed $16.99 a month. Like I said, you could turn that into a trade line as well. The link will be in the description for that. Make sure you use my link because that's the only way you're going to get the basically, what is that, 75, 80% off or so. And because I forfeited, they typically would give me a couple $100 in commission for anybody that signs up using my link. But I forfeited part of that because I want them to give you guys a good rate, because I understand that if you're just starting off building up business credit and you're forming your business, there's tons of costs like registering the INC or the LLC or the S Corp, the state fees, corporation fees, NAV, all that. There's a lot of fees involved. And before you know it, yeah, it's 50 here, 100 here. But before you know it, you already spent $1,000. And if you start listening to some of these other fake business credit gurus on YouTube, if you go down that rabbit hole, you could spend thousands of dollars in a matter of 30 days. And it's not going to help you build business credit. So I cut right through the BS where you don't have to waste your money and waste time, because time is money. So avoid all that as much as possible and cut right to the chase. It doesn't matter if you're one of my one-on-one business credit mentorship students or not, but that's why I'm doing it live here. So you can avoid wasting money. Stay away from Red Spectrum, stay away from Simo Office Supplies, Strategic Network Solutions. There's a couple others out there. In fact, a lot of the starter vendors are not even worth it anymore. A lot of them don't even report at all to anybody. And because business credit is not federally regulated, there's a lot of like scamming or fraudulent trade lines going on. Very misleading, especially if they don't say who they report to and they just say, oh, we report to business credit bureaus. And especially like if the whole website is dedicated, like net 30 at the top, it's really pushing about a trade line, net 30. That's a red flag too. Stay away from companies like that. There's a couple that are okay, say Crown Office Supplies, but you really don't even need a lot of those starter vendors. Not nowadays. It's a waste of money. You don't need to do that. So stop trying to chase credit scores. Stop trying to get a paydex score, 80 paydex score. The scores don't mean anything anyways, and they're not going to help you. What's the point of having good credit scores, good business credit scores, if you can't even get approvals? I'll tell you guys, most of these cards I got when I had low or fair business credit scores. So the scores aren't that important, in my opinion. And you won't hear other YouTubers talk about this. I don't really consider myself a YouTuber. That's just the reality of things. There's things that are very misleading. So we'll go back to the Experian sample report. But one thing I wanted to touch on is the SBA is rolling out a new program, and this is game changing. It's likely going to hit sometime in December. And I have somebody from the SBA coming on next month that we're going to talk about the program, but it's unlike any other program that the SBA offers. So they're rolling out a working capital loan, and it's going to be actually underwritten directly through the SBA, not like normal SBA loans are actually not underwritten directly by the SBA. They're just government backed business loans, and those loans are hard to get, even though they're supposed to be small business friendly. But there's a lot of things involved, and you have to go to a traditional bank that offers SBA lending. And to get those loans, they're very hard. You need to be in business for 2 years and have all your ducks in orders, documents, and it's not a quick process by any means. So, but the SBA is rolling out up to where you can get credit lines up to $5 million. I can't really say too much about it right now, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be game changing for a lot of business owners. And the time in business, you don't even need to be in business that long either, not 2 years. Like, I don't have the exact details, but you could be in business 6 months and get approved. And you don't need to show all these documents and stuff too. And it's attractive loan as well. But let's get back over to this real quick. So just to recap on Experian real quick, make sure your business matches, the business name matches everything, that you have with the Secretary of State. Make sure the address is correct and make sure the phone number is correct. Make sure that phone number that's listed on Experian is the same number that you had listed with the 401 databases. Let me see here. I think it's getlisted.net. If I'm not mistaken. One second. Let me see here. .net. Let me tell you guys about this. This is very important. This is a major problem why a lot of people get denied from Synchrony for, say, the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard or the Lowe's. You'll get that response back. That's a common denial reason. And the denial letter is business information is unverifiable. A common denial reason, and that's usually because either you're lacking the rich filmographic data on your Experian report that I already just covered, but it's also because when they put you on hold, when you call them and they'll check, you give them your reference number, they put you on hold, they're actually looking, the rep that you're on the phone with or the agent is actually searching a closed database that's provided like the Small Business Financial Exchange, but it's for phone numbers, for business phone numbers. You have to think about this. No PG accounts. What recourse do they have? You're going to put in the business phone number, even if it's a cell phone. Although if it's a personal cell phone, that can sometimes work against you. So you want to try to get the business cell phone with, say, T-Mobile or whatever. Convert your existing one over to a business account, port it over, or better yet, just get a whole new T-Mobile or a whole new AT&T line. They usually come with a free phone, and that counts as a trade line as well. That reports to the Business Credit Bureau's Experian in particular. Most of them all report this service on the business side to Equifax. But if you do a lease where you get the, say, S24, and then you put no money down or something, and then you have a 2-year contract, then you get the phone for free, but you're paying like a $30 or $40 monthly payment. Well, that lease payment is actually reported to the business credit bureaus, and it's usually like underwritten through, say, Assurant. That's another trade line that you can potentially get. Just a business cell phone service, you get potentially up to 2 trade lines for a new account. But that's what the underwriters want to see, in particular, the fintechs and Synchrony. So then you're going to put your company name and then your business category. Try to be broad about this too. Don't like do super narrow. For example, this isn't really NAC codes and SIC codes, so it doesn't matter as much. But when you see all this through like business credit applications, you want to stay away from any high risk ones. And there's just so many high risk ones. I can't really mention all of them right now, but real estate, holdings, investments, trucking, transportation, those are all going to be high risk. So you want to avoid selecting anything like that. Try to use a broad one like consulting or management, administration, administrative management, something like that. And then you're going to put your business address. Make sure it's like exactly how your actual business address is. If your business address on Experian, if it says Suite 57, make sure you put Suite spelled out. All right. Don't put the hash symbol, hash sign. Don't do that. Whatever it is, format data, make it match 100%. And then you're going to put your city, state, zip, all that, and then your email address. This isn't provided to the national databases. Only the phone number and the business name and address is, but the email address is not. But you can't be using a like forwarding number that just goes to a voicemail. That's not going to work. You need to make sure it's something when you hit add listing, you need to make sure you can get access to that number right away, because they're going to call you, and it's just like a operator or whatever, automated. They're going to call you with a code, and then you need to put in the code to confirm. And then usually within 3 to 5 days, you'll get an email from List Yourself saying that either they were successful or unsuccessful with getting you listed with the 401 director assistance databases. So that's very important. You can do that at listyourself.net. Now, after you do this, you might get some calls, because they're doing this for free for you. It doesn't cost anything. However, they are going to try to upsell you on the phone SEO services. Just decline and say no thank you. And no matter what they say, they could say, oh, they work for Google or part of Google or on behalf of Google. Just avoid it altogether. Okay. Just like all the listings I talk about, just get the basic and that's it. You don't need to spend any money. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, you guys are rambling a bit too much. But yeah, so you want to make sure that your business, you submit the update and have your business address, your business phone number, and your business email address and business website and key personnel put in on your Experian report profile, because that's rich filmographic data. That counts for approvals. That's how I got a so-called tier 3 or tier 2 revolving business gas card underwritten through Synchrony. I had no trade lines besides NAV at that time, and I got approved. And others would say, oh, that's hard to get. You need to have 20 trade lines or 10 trade lines before you can get that. Well, I proved that whole tier system. 95% of the whole tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, it's a myth. It's BS. Okay. A lot of the people on YouTube, they just copy my content. You can see when I release, say, A to B, I was the first to release them. Roadflex, CorePay, ClearCard, so many of them. And then every other YouTuber copies my content, and they still do to this day. Even this live stream will probably be copied and put into a spreadsheet or something for some other channel's content, just taking my information, data points. But anyway, so down here is where the scores with Experian. This is your Intel score. And like I said, don't get hung up on the scores too much, because even the key score factors can be confusing and misleading at times. Like you could have everything perfect and it will still say things like commercial accounts that are not current. And so there's nothing negative. So why are you saying they're not current? You know? So don't get hung up on that unless there's something negative, of course. And then this is your financial stability risk rating. This is more like your industry, your NAC codes, your industry standard codes, SIC codes. That's a factor when it comes to the financial stability risk rating. So if you're in, say, transportation and you're out of Florida, and Florida as a whole, out of all other transportation companies, have higher delinquent accounts or a higher percentage of late as a whole, not your business. Like you could be great time in business, 5 years, and always pay early of several trade lines, but you could still be getting hurt because the industry you're in. So even if you're in a high risk industry, you can leverage that a little bit strategically if you pick the right industry codes. And it's not lying. It's just you're going to pick a more narrow focused within that industry to balance out that risk rating. So you don't want to be like so 1 is the best with this Intel score. It goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the best. Like I said, don't get hung up on the scores. It's more of just a metric marker. But the financial stability risk rating, that goes from 1 to 5, and 1 being the best, being low risk, and 5 being the worst. Now, then the same thing goes for your small business financial exchange risk rating. This is more about commercial accounts that are traditional, such as American Express, if you have American Express cards, or say Chase. Traditional cards are typically going to be the ones reporting on small business financial exchange. For the most part, those are all going to be mainly personal guarantee. Not always, though, but a majority are. Some people may have this, some people may not. So even if you have the Experian Advantage account, you may not see this if you don't have any reporting with the Small Business Financial Exchange. You're just not going to see this whole box. So then you're going to see basically your lowest. It's all this is pretty self-explanatory. It will show UCC filings, leasing records, bankruptcies, judgments, liens, collections. But some of you guys are not going to see all these boxes either, because you're only going to see these boxes like it says right here. You can see this is 317 to 617, 917. So this is basically your quarterly payment trend over 1 year. Of course, if you're a new business or you don't have any trade lines built up, or you only have, say, one, then you're not going to see these payment trends. It's just not going to show. But then you're going to see your monthly payment trend. You're more likely to see this if you're new than your quarterly. So you might have this box where it's just empty, but underwriters like to see all of this. They like to see all these boxes. That's why it gets me back to telling you guys, stay away from these nonsense trade lines. A lot of them, it's hard to get a lot of Experian trade lines. And that's the ones that they're the hardest to get, but they're also the ones that, like, most of the data furnishers for Experian are Fortune 500 companies, or they're publicly traded companies. So that's also why Experian's data is such highly used by financial underwriters, because it's the most trusted, and it's almost impossible to manipulate, if not impossible. I would say actually it's impossible to manipulate Experian. Now, it's easy to manipulate Dun & Bradstreet with their self-reporting. That's what got them in trouble a couple years ago. And then, of course, Equifax, there's a lot of trade lines you can get with Equifax. There's tons of them you can get. And so that's why it's easier to manipulate a bit, I should say. But it still comes down to, you have to use these trade lines. But Dun & Bradstreet, I would say, is the easiest to manipulate. That's why they're just not trusted and used by most underwriters nowadays. It's more for manufacturing. Anyways, I'm sorry if I'm getting too detailed with you guys. I apologize. All this is just common sense to me. I don't do scripts or anything. That's why I'm all over the place. It just comes so natural. I've been doing business credit since 2004, 2003 or so. But if anybody is interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, just text me 937-423-9954, and just text that you're interested in. After this live stream, in the order that they come in, then I'll schedule a consultation. And we can probably even get on a consultation tonight. So typically I get 15 to 20 people a day contact me for consultations. When I do live streams like this, I'll typically work later into the night. So Pacific Standard Time, basically until about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So just text, and I don't accept everybody. I would say I only accept about 5 to 10% of the people that contact me. We do a consultation. Out of, say, 10 people, I only accept maybe one at the most, maybe out of 10 different consultations. That's just because I'm very picky on who I accept. The goals have to be aligned, and expectations have to be aligned as well. I've had over 400 students, and I've never had a negative review. That should count for something. And the main reason for that is I'm very picky on who I accept. I am the only channel on YouTube publicly endorsed by Experian Business Credit. That's not why I'm pushing them so much. It's just Experian is the bureau that you want to focus the most on if you're trying to get financial credit lines, revolving lines, draw lines, credit cards, no PG or PG, flex lines, fintech lines, all that. And if you know how to strategically use all these different credit lines, you could literally turn $10,000 business credit approval into $1 million business credit combined approvals if you know how to strategically use them. Especially, say, even if you're pre-revenue, your business isn't earning much or earning very little, you can still do this. It's just a strategic method. And I only teach that to my students because there's a lot of scammers, and I don't want the scammers to take advantage of the loopholes that I've learned over the years. But anyways, go down to here. This is your trade payment information. This is what I said, what's important too about getting trade lines that is consistent, that you're going to actually use. There's no point to get 20 trade lines. It'd be hard to get that with Experian. But let's just say you got 10 different Experian trade lines on reporting to Experian. I actually have a couple students right now. I have 54 or 55 currently enrolled students now. And I have 5 different students that they don't really listen to me 100%. My tasks and everything I tell my students to do is optional, but some of them are just, they're set in their ways. So like they have 10 trade lines on, say, Experian, but they have them all at 0. And even though they've used them, say Uline, they use it, but then they pay it so early. So when Experian does their updates, with their data furnishers monthly, it's still showing zero. So you actually, with business credit, you want to show balances. So if you pay too early, the accounts are never going to be submitted. It's going to be accounted like as a prepaid account, and it's not going to help your business credit at all. So it's very important to make sure that you time things properly. It doesn't matter if it's a Uline or it's a credit card or what, net 30 or varied terms or leasing. Make sure that you time things properly. So if it's, let's just say it's, you have an invoice and that payment's due on the first of the month, right? So I wouldn't pay it 2 weeks early. Like, people think you want to pay early, it makes you look good and all that. Why pay early and it's not going to have any beneficial for you, even with the underwriter? Like, I say pay early, but not too early. Don't pay 2 weeks early. A lot of my students before, that what they would do is they would get these invoices, and they get the invoice right when they get, say, product or something or whatever they ordered, and then they pay it right away. Like, as soon as they get the invoice, they still have 25 days until the invoice is due. They pay it. Like I said, you're just going to go to smartbusinessreports.com/Brex. That's going to get you the 50% off. So it's only $99 annually. Divide that. What is that? Like less than a month? You really can't beat it. Is it going to get you a trade line? No, but it's going to help you understand business credit and make sure everything's matching. And Experian is the one that every business should focus the most on, building up your Experian business credit. Because if you're trying to get credit lines and credit cards, and doesn't matter if it's PG or no PG, you really want to focus the most on your Experian. That's even who the SBA, that's who the government even uses. In fact, like when I told you about the SBA going to be rolling out new credit lines up to 5 million, that's a working capital. They will definitely be pulling your Experian. So you want to make sure that your Experian business credit is good. If you want to get the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard, make sure that your Experian is healthy. So that's the best free advice I can give you, is get Nav Prime, potentially the Nav card too. It's $49, I think, a month. And then get the eCredible. I think that's $20 a month. With my code, you're going to get 25% off. So I think it's only $14.50 per month. And then I think you get $10 off with the GBC 25 for Fair Figure Premium account. You get all three of those. That's going to get you anywhere from 3 to 12 potential trade lines reporting. That's a good start for anybody that hasn't done anything yet or don't know where to go. It doesn't matter if you're new or existing. That's what I would do right away. If you're not going to join my mentorship, that's what I would do. Just do that, because that's going to set you up for success and put you on the right track. That's not going to be where you don't need to go after these trade lines that are just nonsense, like these starter vendors where you got to pay $99 membership fee or pay 25% down or whatever. Stay away from those. You don't need to do those nowadays. A lot of them, like I said, don't even report. So just forget about those. Get those foundation trade lines reporting as business services, and then you're going to have a good chance to get the Speedway Superfleet MasterCard or Roadflex, Universal Premium, and a lot of these are all no PG. The BP card, BP MasterCard. I have so many of them myself. Yeah, as you guys know, I have. For those that just came in here, you guys can smash the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. I'll go to the comments section here in a moment. But for those that didn't see, it's not necessarily me bragging. These are all my cards, and I got like at least probably 120 of them. And I would say the combined, if you count my American Express, because I have the Centurion Black invite only card, I would say my limits are upwards of maybe 10 million. But if you, because there's a lot of no preset spending limits with all the American Express cards, and I have 12 American Express cards, business and personal. But if you take away the American Express cards, because that's PG, I probably have 0.4 to 3 million, somewhere in that ballpark. And a lot of it comes down to either these cards combined limits or the draw lines that I have available to me. And I'll show you guys those here in a moment. There's good draw lines that you can get available to you. They're not huge limits, but anywhere from like 20 to 50,000, and you can just pull what you want. So if you only need 5,000, say you got approved for 50,000, but you only need like for a project or inventory or something, you only need say 10,000. So you just pull 10,000, it'll be in your bank the next day. And then you're only paying over 6 to 12 months. You're paying that amount back divided over 6 to 12 months plus the financing fees, and those will be anywhere from 12 to 18%. However, you can pull another 10,000 or 5,000 a week later, and it's going to be a different payment for that one. So it just depends on what you want. And those actually get reported as Small Business Financial Exchange as well, and Experian. A couple more things we're going to cover on this live is I'm going to show you how you can get some funding through a fairly new underwriter, and it's a direct underwriter, so it's not like you're going through a broker or anything. We have a lot of success, especially a lot of my students are getting a lot of approvals. However, this underwriter does not give super high limits. Their average is 20 to 30,000 limit, and they have two different ones. They have merchant cash events where it's basically they give you 30,000, then you're going to pay that back on either weekly or biweekly terms. They will draw from your bank account. It's more of a shorter term loan. And then they just released their new product, which is a line of credit. So what I was talking about, you get $20,000 or $30,000 approval, and then you can just draw from it. So it's like a draw line. You don't have to take it all at once. You can take part of it or whatever. What's nice about that underwriter is they don't require you to be earning a lot. So you do need to have revenue coming in, but it's not like a lot of the underwriters where to get a business loan, you need to be doing 10, 20,000 a month. With this underwriter, you only need to be doing about $2,100 a month. Another thing you can do strategically is say you do DoorDash or Uber and you do that on the side or something. We'll have the earnings that you get direct deposited, your job or whatever, have those go into your business bank account. Yeah, you want to keep things separate, but that's something you could do to help start to get some earnings coming in to show, because a lot of the fintechs are going to be looking transaction based. You just keep that in mind. And a lot of these strategic methods I teach with my students one-on-one. Like I said, if anybody's just coming in here and they don't know where to start, or they keep getting denials and they don't know why they're getting the denials, they already got trade lines or something, then reach out to me. I do a free consultation. Just text that number 937-423-9954. And we can even do a consultation tonight after this live. This live will probably be maybe 20 more minutes or so. Appreciate you guys' patience. But before I get into the underwriter that you could get potentially approved for two different programs, let me go over to the comment section. Then we'll get into the Sam's Club, PG Business MasterCard, how to get approved for that, and build up that interbanking relationship, because they have 5 other trade lines you could potentially get. And I'll show you in order which ones you should go after. If you're a new business, don't go after the Sam's Club right away because you're going to get denied. Do it in this particular order that I'll show you here in a moment. But let me go through the comments and then I'll bounce over back to that. Okay. All right. Brenna says, how many trade lines do you need? It depends. That's not an answer. That's not a question I can just blanket answer. It depends what you're trying to do and accomplish. But like I said, don't get trade lines just to get trade lines. That's pointless. Like, it actually looks bad for you with the underwriters if you have a whole bunch of trade lines reporting, like here in the sample report. If you have a lot of these trade lines, see how all these have usage? It says recent high credit. This is what you want to see. This is what underwriters want to see. They don't want to see like this one. And some of my students, it's like pulling teeth to get them to show usage because they want to keep things at zero always. But it's not like personal credit where you want to keep everything at like low utilization, 0 or 3%. That's not the case on business. You need to demonstrate financial stable history and ability to pay. The only way to demonstrate that is if you have accounts like this, where it's showing your recent high credit. And that's the other thing is credit limits aren't actually disclosed to the business credit bureaus. So if you get a $40,000 credit line, it's not necessarily going to be disclosed to the bureaus, especially if it's like a net 30 or like some of those scamming net 30 account providers or whatever, like Strategic Network Solutions, Sima Office Supplies. They'll make you pay a higher fee or whatever membership fee higher to get, say, a 5,000 versus 2,000. And that doesn't even matter. It's just they think you're naive and they know people are naive. So it's just a way that they're going to try to get more money out of you. But it's actually never reported to the business credit bureaus at all with them. But with any underwriter or trade line, it's actually not reported to the business credit bureau. So they really don't understand that. Who cares about the credit limit? So what's really counted is everything as a whole, not just one. This is fine to have. Like, a recent high credit was 85,800 and the balance is zero. That's in a perfect world what you want to have, but you don't necessarily have to be like that. Like I said, it's not like personal credit where you want to keep low balances or zero utilization. With business credit, you actually want to actually show utilization, and you want to show high utilization. You can see this sample report has high utilization, right? But their scores are still good. So don't get hung up on the scores. But if this was reversed on the personal side, oh, this person would have a very bad FICO score. So don't get hung up on business credit scores. But you actually want to show balances, and the higher balances you can show, and then you show them paid off. Let's say this one's an $85,800 recent high credit, and then it's zero balance. That demonstrates to the underwriter, like, wait, this company is very financially healthy. If they're able to have a recent high credit of 85,000 recently, and they paid it all off, that demonstrates good behavior, financial stability. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh, that's hard to get or how hard to do because I'm pre-revenue or I don't earn enough. Like I said, if you're in my mentorship, my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I teach my students how to, when they're ready, I teach them how to strategically do that if they need it. So I can teach how to take, say, these 3 business cards, and they may be only low limits, say $3,000 to $5,000 limit each, but I can teach you how to take that and turn that into one $25,000, $30,000 approval through one. And then you take that $25,000, $30,000 approval, and the other accounts that we get you combine all those and then turn that, say, 40,000 into a $60,000 approval through, say, one fintech. Then you take that 60,000 and you turn that into $150,000 approval. And then you just keep on stacking it in a sense. Now, do all my students do this? No, I only have a select few that do that. Like those that are interested in investing in real estate, doing fix and flip. I bought 3 houses and I bought them all with business gas cards. They weren't very expensive, but they were like 22,000 to 33,000. They needed gutted. The bones were good, but I liquidated basically gas cards that can only be used for gas and auto purchases only. But I figured out how to actually liquidate them, bypassing that, liquidating 3 of them to do the closing for 3 houses. And then once I closed on them, it's due back in 30 days, 30 to 45 days, depending on the statement billing period. But then I had 2 other gas cards that were higher limits. I liquidated those 2 higher limit ones to pay back the other 3. So I used their own money to pay them back, essentially. And then what I ended up getting from that is like this, accounts like this reporting a high recent credit, but then the balance is zero. And then it's like you're using Paul to pay Peter to pay John and so forth and so on. And I started doing that literally with $5,000 I put out of my own personal money into the business checking account when I started the new LLC, just for demonstration purposes for the YouTube channel 5 years ago to teach all this, right? So essentially I was able to show month after month recent high credits of anywhere from 20 to $60,000 and multiple accounts, like 12, 13 of them, I would say. I have, like, right now close to 400,000 just in business gas cards alone. And most of them I can use for anything because a lot of them are unlocked now. That definitely helps big time. Where was I though? Yeah, so I'm going to go over to about the loan now real quick. I'm going to talk about the loan for anybody interested in getting a business loan, a small business loan, anywhere from the lowest I think is like 2,500 they offer, line of credit 2,500, and I think up to like 50,000 if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go over that. Let me find the link here real quick. Where is it at? And then after that, I'll break down the Sam's Club and interbanking relationship, how to get the approvals. And then that will probably be it for tonight. Let me find the link here, though. All right, here we are. Let me go over the questions real quick. That's what I was actually doing. And then we'll bounce back to this. I'll show you how to get approved with this underwriter. It's a direct underwriter. And then we'll bounce back and forth. But if you guys have any questions, get it in the comment section. I appreciate it. And also, like I said, if anybody's interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I have 4 or 5 spots still open. Just text 937-423-9954. We'll get on a call tonight after this live. If you're available, I'll be working late doing consultations. If you're not available tonight, then we can schedule it for tomorrow. But anyways, let me get over this real quick. Madden says I put NAV, Crown Office Supplies, and ADB did great for me. Yeah, those are all okay. B just started actually reporting to Experian. ADB's how you're going to see that on your Experian account. It's usually going to be like a 2-digit number and a letter. So it could be like B-44 or C27 or something. It's not going to show like 4 digits. It's going to have just a letter and 2 numbers. Before they didn't really report. BMST Group. What is the latest on Credit Safe? The latest is don't ignore it. It's very important. Credit Safe is very important. They're actually the largest business credit bureau in the world, actually. They're just not as big in the US. But yeah, definitely don't neglect your Credit Safe. But don't pay Credit Safe. Like you can go on Credit Safe and claim your own profile and see, but don't pay them. Like they try to upsell you like all these extra account things. Don't even do that. It's a waste of money. It's not that important, but it's important. But you can see your initial report for free. Vince, what's up, brother? Just checking in, Battle. Vince is a longtime buddy. He's actually here with me in the Philippines in a different island, but Battle's my nickname with him. Okay, let's see here. BMST Group. Mercedes-Benz wants a $500 refundable deposit to submit an app for a business fan. Is this a green light for approval or is it 50-50? Okay, Mercedes can be tricky. Did you go to a Mercedes dealership? Because I have a student right now that is getting like G-Wagons, getting a fleet of G-Wagons. And the dealership didn't ask him for any deposit. So I would actually let me know what you're talking about. Actually, is it directly through the Mercedes Financial or is it through a dealership? If it's through a dealership, they should probably be working with Ally. And you're going to probably have a better chance to get approved through Ally. I would at least try Ally first. But you can't go directly to Ally and apply. You need to, only the dealership can actually put in the application for you. But as long as it's refundable, it's fine. Are you personally guaranteeing or is it no personal guarantee? Or do you know yet? But if you're trying to get a Sprinter van, I have tons of students right now. That's out of the students I have right now, 54, 55 that I've had that are currently enrolled, and maybe close to 100 that I've had this year so far. I would say most people that join my mentorship, they're either trying to get funding for real estate to do fix and flips or long-term hold bridge loans or something, apartment buildings, or they're trying to get fleet vehicles or Sprinter vans because they're doing different logistics, package courier, mail courier, things like that. And we're very successful getting all those for them. No PG Sprinter vans are actually very easy to get. You typically need to be in business at least 6 months and have all your ducks in order to be able to get that. Fund on up. I'm ready, Josh. Let's go. I sent you a text, Corey. I sent you a text. I didn't hear back from you though. Let's see here. Okay, let me see here. Mercedes wants $500 deposit to submit. No PG, zero down. App for business fan. If it's no PG, yeah, I would definitely go ahead and do that. But how old is your business and what's on your business credit report? So there's no point to do that if you're not ready yet. Like if you don't have enough accounts or whatever, you're going to need at least one account reporting over $1,000 and 3 months payment history to go get no PG approval like that. Great answer, because BM told me it's a no PG for business as of now. Yeah, all this could change at any time, but I don't foresee auto vehicles probably ever changing to personal guarantee only. I don't foresee that ever changing, especially anytime soon. Although things could change, some of them, yeah, Mercedes or BMW, one of them might change, but I don't see them all going out the door anytime soon, just because there's so many corporations. You can't classify a small business and then a bigger business, say business with 100 employees that has board members and stuff. You can't really require a personal guarantee for a business that of that size, right? And there's laws where there's discrimination and stuff, and they can't really discriminate against, say, somebody with 3 employees versus say 300. So as long as you have your ducks in the right order, then there should be an opportunity for you to get the no PG auto loans. And you don't have to necessarily go through Mercedes or BMW, because there's always Ally, and Ally is actually very friendly with newer businesses. People think business auto loans are hard to get with no PG, but you have to understand it's easier to get $100,000, say Mercedes G-Wagon loan or something, get one of those than it would be getting even a $20,000 business unsecured loan. Reason for that being is this, let's just say, this fuel man gas card, right? It can be used for multi-use. Okay. My limit on this is like 34,000. Essentially, I could just take the 34,000 off of it and then just use it for myself or family or whatever, go to the casino, anything, whatever. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying essentially I could do that, right? And then I could lose it all and go out of business or whatever. And Fleet Corps, the underwriter, would have no recourse to get that back because it's no PG. However, on a, say, vehicle financing or lease, if you don't pay after about 90 days, they give you a little longer time than personal auto loans, personal guaranteed. But even if it is personally guaranteed, still you have to miss 3 payments before they're going to repo it. But they can repo it. And with business leases and stuff, the underwriters, they don't approve old vehicles. And the reason for that is they want to make sure they're going to recoup if you default. If they have to repo it, they want to be able to minimize their risk. That's why they're more likely to approve something more expensive than something cheaper. And then when, say, they approve that and you don't pay for, say, 90 days, then they're just going to repo it. And maybe they lost $5,000 or $10,000 when they auction it off, but that 10,000 is a lot less of probability odds and risk to them than, say, an underwriter that would lose out 34,000 of just maxing out a business no PG credit card. So hopefully that makes sense. You understand that? Yeah, I just replied to you, BMST. And I love these questions because these questions is what helps everybody. You guys ask the questions, and some other viewer may not have that question right now, but they are listening. And then maybe a month or 2 months down the line, they'd be like, oh, I remember I was in Josh's live and somebody asked that, and now I needed to know about that. So all these questions do help each other as a whole, as a business credit community. I'm all about helping people. I don't do this for the money. In fact, all the channel revenue earnings that comes in and the one-on-one business credit mentorship earnings that comes in from that, we donate a majority of that all goes to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. As most of you guys know, I have Parkinson's disease and got diagnosed in 2017. And there's no cure as of yet. I hope to find a cure in my lifetime. I had to get deep brain stimulation operation done last year. A couple of them, actually. The third one was successful. So it's something that's very near and dear to me, and hopefully there's a cure in my lifetime. They're making a lot of advancements. We've been able to donate almost $500,000 in the past 5 years. But if you look at the government, they don't give really funding for research for Parkinson's research, not like they do with cancer, because it doesn't really just like kill you overnight or anything. It's just more about bad quality of life. But Muhammad Ali, that's how he died. He was from Parkinson's. There need to be more awareness about it than there actually is. But that's one of the main reasons I do this. And then I love helping people, and I love challenges too. I have ADD, and that's also a gift and a curse. That's why I'm able to figure out how to get approved for new underwriters and old underwriters, because I will inspect even the application, the elements and everything, inspect the code, see with the APIs where everything's going. And I just try to leverage it the most impossible, as much as possible. They're working against you, so why don't you try to work against them and leverage it, and then use other people's money? OPM. The rich get richer by OPM. They don't use their own money. Invest your own money, but when you need something, take that money, use other people's money to build your business and grow your business. Doesn't matter if you had 100,000 in the bank account right now of your own money. I wouldn't suggest using that for your business. Like, for buying or funding your business, try to get the no PG first. Most all my students, we don't go after anything personally guaranteed. The only time we go to personal guarantee is when it's really required and we've already exhausted all the no PG options. And that's usually many months down the line. That's why my lowest mentorship is 12 weeks and goes to 16, 26, and 52. But there's so many credit lines out there that's no PG, where unless you're trying to get millions, you really don't need a PG. If you're just trying to get, say, 300 to 500,000, you don't need a personal guarantee. It just takes more strategic steps and stuff that you have to do, but it's really not impossible. Like I said, out of 2.4 million I got in business credit in that first 16 months, I would say like at least 40-50% of that, maybe even as high as 60% is no PG. Depends which ones you're counting. If you total as a whole, probably 60% is no PG. Like I had 40,000, almost $40,000 Dell computer line, and that's actually like a revolving kind of. And I financed my whole office studio, all my video editors and stuff that I had before for my other motivation channel. But they have tons of things. Like I can even teach how to take some of these credit lines and liquidate them. Dell has many items. So if you have Amazon FBA account, you can turn a business credit line that can only be used, say, only at JCPenney's or only on Dell.com. I can show you how to buy things in there from them for wholesale, and then you turn around and ship it to Amazon, and then they sell it for you, and you can still profit off of it. But it really comes down to if you want to go through those different steps. I'm not saying you have to, but I've tested all this out, and I can strategically tell you how to do it and what to buy, how to utilize it. And it's not always about getting a credit line. What can you do with it? Like, you don't want to just get credit lines that you have no use for. So it's important to get credit lines that you actually have use for, or you can actually utilize it some way or another to either pull cash off of it or pull funding off of it, or use it to get to, say, strategically interbank relationship to get to the next level or next point that you want to get. Okay, let's go back to the questions real quick. I don't know about Mercedes, but I know BMW said hopefully Josh can answer this question. Yeah, if they're guaranteed it's no PG, then I would say go ahead and do it. But you might want to check with me first. I haven't seen your report on, say, Credit Safe and your Experian, all your reports Equifax, but it's probably going to be the Equifax what they're looking at. But I don't know what your profile looks like, so I can't blindly just answer that as a blanket. Just because something's no PG doesn't matter. It doesn't mean just go ahead and apply for it. Yes, the worst thing they can say is decline you, but don't apply for something that's going to potentially hurt you down the line and ruin that relationship that you could potentially have with, say, Mercedes. Because sometimes that can be held against you. If they denied you, say, today, you might have to wait 180 days before they will let you put a new application in. So you want to make sure you don't prematurely apply. Pronto, what's considered a citation for said business? So a citation is anything that mentions your site, like a directory on a third-party site. So .com being listed on there, your business, that's a citation. Easy Local, Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau. Those are citations. And it's important for you to have a minimum of 5 to 10 citations. They're all free. It just takes time. You can get them done in 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes each. You have to verify them, things like that, confirm your email address, things like that. But if you don't want to take the time to do it, there's like a link, I think, in my description that there's a service that I used to use. And I have some of my students use. It's called Bright Local. They only charge $2 per citation and they do it for you. You can get as many as you want. They can get 100 of them. I have some students that they're really taking it super serious and they're getting a lot. And it also will help your SEO. It helps you rank on Google too. Good evening, my son. Evening, mother. Hope all is well. Talk with Alana. Long time no see. What's a Volt? Maybe I'm unfamiliar. It's good and durable. Radley says, hey, Josh, is it a good idea to still try to build business credit with no PG? Yes, absolutely. My 56 currently enrolled students and over 100 this year so far. Like, I don't have any of my students go after things that are no PG. I have plenty of students that have an 820, 850 FICO score, and they have plenty of money in the bank, but we don't go after PG. We only do PG when we've exhausted all no PG options. So why, I don't care how successful and great your business is or what you're planning, why take on unnecessary liability if you don't have to? But if you're just trying to get no PG because you have bad credit and you're wanting to use business credit for your personal, depends what you're trying to do with that situation. I understand people are in bad situations sometimes and they make mistakes, things out of their control as well. But I wouldn't say just focus on building business credit because you have bad personal credit. So you're wanting to use business credit just to use for your own personal sake because you don't have any personal credit that you can get. That's not the right mindset either. I'm not saying you can't use business credit for personal, especially if you get, say, a JCPenney's credit line. You can only be used at JCPenney's. So Christmas is coming up. So buy your family gifts, your wife, your husband, whatever, kids, buy them stuff at JCPenney's. It's good prices. Plus you get 30% off with that commercial card. And you're going to have to spend that money anyways on personal. Like you're going to have to buy your family gifts or something for Christmas anyways. So why not use it on something that's going to help your business? So buy the gifts with your JCPenney's commercial card. That's going to help you get in that interbanking relationship with Synchrony. It's going to get that relationship so you get the no PG Sam's Club MasterCard. Absolutely. Just pay the company back. Pay back your company and then your company pays Synchrony, JCPenney's. But absolutely, don't take on unnecessary liability. I wouldn't want to take on liability for my business, even though it's very successful. All my companies are, but I'm not going to take on liability like that unless it's going to be like, say, a SBA loan of $1 million, like something high. There's no point to take on unnecessary liability. Jacqueline, long time no see. Are you still connected with Chad Gabellis? No, he doesn't work for me anymore. I still talk to him often, but you said you need help with website. I don't think he's doing websites anymore, but if you watch this replay, I just partnered with Unit and they give you for only $149. They build you a custom website and they host it, email, everything. The link is in the description below. You get $450 off. You just use coupon code GBC. We talked about earlier, you could watch the replay I showed when this live's over. You could watch the replay. I pretty much covered everything, all the, what they do, how they do it, and why it's actually important to go through them if you don't already have a website, because they already know what I want for my students and my viewers. The format that underwriters are looking for is the footer, and your information being in that footer is very important. And the header, the content at the very top of the website, you need to have that citation information as well, mentioning your business phone number, email address. Those are all important factors that underwriters do look for when they are doing manual underwriting, looking at your website. These are very important steps. Yes, a dealership. Yeah, like I said, you need to, if you want to send me over a snapshot of your business credit report, I'll take a look at it for free and just give you advice. Just support at joshvanhorn.com. Again, just email support at joshvanhorn.com. Or if you want to do a free phone consultation, just text me 937-423-9954. I'm not saying you have to be interested in the mentorship, but that's really what the numbers for those that want a free consultation to see if I could approve you for the one-on-one business credit mentorship. Because like I said, I don't accept 90% of people that contact me. And that's not because I'm not trying to help people. I'm trying to help you, but the goals need to be aligned. If you just contact me and say, Josh, I want to get 100,000, get me 100,000 within the next 30 days and I'll join your mentorship. That I don't want to deal with people like that, because that's not really the mindset that you should have if you want to be successful, not only in business, but be successful with building business credit. It's not an overnight process, for one. And yes, I have some students that get 100, 200,000 the first week of the mentorship, but that's rare. I have had some students get that, but everything's a process and everybody's at a different stage. They are established or not established, pre-revenue or revenue. They have different goals, short-term and long-term. And I take all that into account when I'm doing the consultation. And then based on what we talk about during the consultation, that's at the end of the call, then I pretty much decide if I want to accept you for the mentorship or not. But things have to be aligned. We need to get along, for one, that's important, business chemistry, and you need to be willing to learn, and you need to be willing to dedicate at least 1 to 2 hours of your time per week doing the custom tasks that I assign. You need to be dedicated, because I do have some students that they paid me mentorship, and then it's like pulling teeth to get them to even do any tasks. Some people are lazy. Okay, fund on up. Yeah, yeah, I did see that you said you were moving. Anyways, just reach back out to me. Let's make sure we secure your spot. The business is 2016. Okay, so yeah. Do you have trade lines? You have the age, fine. Just depends on what type of trade lines you have. Grange is who I use. It's a lesser known, but it's actually a big insurance company out of Columbus, Ohio, and they do mainly they do personal, but businesses who I would say a majority of their clients are, but they could be more expensive than what maybe you're willing to pay. But pretty much all insurance companies will cover business, but just some specialize more in it, like Grange does. That's who I got for a truck that I did under Ally a couple years back in 2018. Good evening, Josh. Another student of mine. Nick, how are you doing? I sent you tasks already to do for this week and sent you a couple texts as well. I'll get on the top of the task this week. Okay, good. Make sure you keep me in the loop what the outcome of those tasks are. Smash the yes, please smash the like button. I'll get over to the get loot because the comments I pretty much almost went through. Do you have any resources or recommended strategies for people that live in the Philippines? Optioning. Well, I'm in the Philippines myself. I'm in Cebu, Philippines. And like I said, I got pretty much most of these cards I got living here in the Philippines. And I choose to live here. I got my other businesses here. I have a BPO office and my marketing business for law firms and plastic surgeons. My employees that work out of here. And then also I have my kids here. They're half Filipino. I choose to have my kids here rather than we go back to the States. We go back and forth to visit, but it's safer for my kids living in the Philippines than it is in the US. There's a major, I don't need to tell you guys, I lost my eldest daughter and my little brother and little sister to drug overdose. And that all happened the last 4.5 years. So I don't want to bury another child or another sibling. So until things get under control, I probably will move back to the States next year, but that's still not a definite thing. I hope things get better though in the States. Slowly, it seems like the overdose rate is getting less and less, but it affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, it doesn't discriminate. I think everybody knows somebody that either overdosed or is struggling with addiction. It's sad. But yeah, optioning, you can get business credit being in the Philippines. It just takes a little bit different strategy. But if you have somebody in the States that can send you, like I have my aunt, she sends me every 2 weeks, I get a FedEx package of all my mail. So that's how I get all the cards and stuff here. Fund on up has nothing to do with that. Yeah. I think you're talking about the Experian racist or whatever. Yeah. I agree. Will it media? Yeah, I haven't seen you before. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you guys aren't already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and that's what gets me to keep putting out the content. When I put out this free content for a reason, because I want to help you guys. But I only do it because I keep seeing you guys request it and commenting. And if I get a lot of someone video and more subscribers, then that makes me keep on putting out this free information. And no other channel on the YouTube actually gives information like I give. The information I give is so valuable if you really put it to work for you. There's no ulterior motive. Other channels, they just put out just because they're trying to get affiliate earnings. That's why I don't promote. I'm not saying I'm not an affiliate or strategic partner with some of the underwriters. I am. However, I don't sit there and just make a website, make a video about promoting business t-shirt club or strategic network solutions or Red Spectrum. Just trying to get like our affiliate earnings and send you guys down a rabbit hole of wasting money. That's no, not at all. But I appreciate that. It's comments like this is why I keep doing this. I am CJ. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, CJ. Oh my gosh, victim playing. I never though. Experian would be racist. Yeah, they're too big to be like that anyways. It's just requirements you need to meet. That's all. All right, I'm going to go over to the Get Loot here in a minute, and then I'm going to go over my mentorship, and then we're going to go over to the Sam's Club. And I'll try to make this quick because it's already 2.5 hours, but good 2.5 hours. We got almost 40 viewers, and that's nice. Does fuel and gas card by driven convert to? So you need to get when you apply, you need to get this one. So they have one that's no MasterCard. Don't get that one because it's harder to get that converted into a MasterCard later. So you need to go apply originally for the MasterCard version, but there is like a fee, but I think it's only $9 or $6, something like that a month. You don't need to get the premium one, just get the regular MasterCard one because they have different levels and stuff. But just get the regular MasterCard one, apply for that one, and just make sure it has the MasterCard logo. And then if you get approved, they pull Experian, by the way. But if you get approved, then it is a separate process to get it converted. So there's a strategic method. I know how to use it, even if it's not converted. I know a way to actually liquidate them. I don't put that information out public, only for my students, just because it'll be abused, and it's not being abused because the option's still available. So it hasn't obviously been abused by anybody yet. But if I put that method out there, then there's going to be a lot of people that I'm sure will abuse it, and then it'll make it harder for that strategic method to work in the future. So that's why I don't put that out there publicly. But if you don't do, say, the mentorship or whatever, you can still convert it to multi-use. Yeah, let me see here. I think I have. Yeah, so I'll show you the difference on how you can know what verse multi. Bear with me here. Try to show the example. I have so many here. Okay, so perfect example. These are both the MasterCard, right? They're both MasterCard. They're both the same. But then see how focus. It's not really focusing, I think. It's my camera or something. Anyways, one says fleet. This one says fleet. And then this one says multi and fleet. Multi and fleet. So you'll get the fleet originally, but then you can see this one too. See, this is Speedway Superfleet 711. I hate this camera. Anyways, this one says this one's multi. I have all of the fleet core cards unlocked to multi, but they take anywhere from 2 to 4 months to get them unlocked. So if you don't do the strategic method like I learned before, then you can also get them unlocked. And they usually give you like rebates too. So you'll get like anywhere from 2 to 5 percent cash back for the first, say, 90 days once they offer you that. So you get a letter in the mail typically, and that's when you'll qualify. And that's usually after 3 months of on-time payments and showing a good amount of usage, because they want to give you high limits because they want you to spend it. They only make money off the interchange fee. If you use 10,000 and you have a $10,000 limit, you're only paying back 10,000. You only pay back what you use. There's no financing fees because it's not 30 typically. With statement periods, it could be almost 45 days or so. But you need to pay it back in full. So but you can get them all unlocked. Like I try to have all my students strategically use them. If they can't get them unlocked, then in the meantime, we'll strategically use them and liquidate them to stack them. But you can definitely get them. It depends how good a relationship you have with your account rep too at FleetCor, or whatever, if it's BP or your Argo or your KC's, Universal Premium, Fuelman, 7-Eleven. But if you have that relationship built up, they can usually make it a little bit quicker that you can get approved potentially for the multi-use. And then that you can use that card on anything, but you can't pull cash off of it. However, the strategic methods that I teach to my students, I teach how to pull cash off of it, like liquidate it. If it's a $10,000 limit, get 10,000 off of it, or 9,000 or whatever. But FleetCor is very good about giving limit increases without even asking for them. As long as you pay back, say you have a $10,000 starting limit. If you charge like 7,500 or 7,800 in that first month and you pay it back on time, or I always say pay 2 days early, 3 days early, business days, as long as you pay like early, you would be surprised, but you will log into your Comdata iConnect account with FleetCor, whatever card it is. You'll log in and you'll see your limit go from, say, $10,000 limit to 14,500 or 19,500. They like to do odd numbers, but I got limits ranging from 6,500, and within 3 months, the limits go up to 36,000, 40,000. Like I said, the 5 cards combined, I have under the same underwriter, total up about $240,000 across 5 cards. And like I said, I got probably close to 400,000 with all gas cards, not just FleetCor, other underwriters too. But all of them are going to be able, you can liquidate them if you know how. There's ways to liquidate gas only cards. But if you can get them unlocked, because then you can use them for hotel, travel, anything. Or you can use them to pay other bills, other business bills. You can use like Plastique and Melio and literally liquidate them that way. There's ways you can do it on that too. That's not the strategic method that I teach, but that's one other method. Like with my mentorship, it's not just about teaching you about how to build business credit, but I tell you what to go after, how to get approved for it too, and how to strategically leverage those approvals. Anybody can go out and apply for business credit lines and stuff, right? Anybody can go, you don't need me for that so much. But I make it so everything's done in a sequence period of time to leverage everything and make sure you're not skipping steps, because I know what underwriters are looking for. Set you up for success, but then once we get all those credit lines, then I teach you how you can use them. Because what benefit is having all these cards if you don't have a necessary way to use them, or you have 3,000 on one card, 10,000 on another, 12 on another, and then you just want to get 100,000 cash in your bank because you want to buy a real estate investment property. If you don't really know what to do with, get these liquidated properly and stuff for the lowest amount of money, only paying 3.5%, that's still going to be the best way to go about it. But I teach you how to strategically use them and leverage them to pull the liquid cash off for you. I'll show you how to do that. But you can't even get with a 850 FICO score personal, even personally guarantee or no PG. You can't get $100,000 loan with good credit, good business credit, good personal credit. You can't get that much cheaper than like 10%. Even SBA loans, you can't really touch how you can if you strategically use these business credit lines that you get. If you learn how to liquidate them like I teach, then you're only paying about less than 4%, and you can't beat that. But it takes a couple extra steps to do every month. But hey, that's going to save you a lot of money. But anyways, I'll go over the questions here. And then let me go to this first. You guys get the questions in and I'll come back to the questions in a moment. Let me get this done so it doesn't take too much longer. This is, where's it at here? Okay, so you can see Loot in partnership with Get Business Credit. I hate that picture of me. I told them to change that already. But anyways, unlock $250,000 today to fuel your business and earn cashback rewards along the way. Apply now. You guys don't just Google them. Make sure you use my link. I'll show you why shortly. But if you're using my link, it's not only going to help support the channel, but it's actually going to go to a back door where I can actually see. And if you were to get denied or a low limit, then I can actually do I don't want to say reconsideration, but I'm on Slack with the founder. So I can get things like updated, not guaranteed, but I have with some of my students. So definitely use my link. It is in the description though, but it's unlock.getloot.com/get-business-credit, but it's long. So just click the link in the description. I have several resource links there. But anyways, your credit score is not affected. So it is just going to be a soft pull. Even if you have bad credit, they don't discriminate against bad credit. So they have two different ones, and that's revenue-based financing, aka considered like a merchant cash advance. But what's nice about them is it's not like typical merchant cash advances where if you take out, say, $100,000 loan every day, they're going to take out like $400 or $600 out of your business checking account every day. Loot doesn't. Loot does not do that. They do. Everybody's situation is going to be different based on their algorithm and their underwriting procedure, but it is all in-house. It's not through a broker. It's a direct lender. Okay. And you pay it back. They have flexible terms like weekly instead of being every day. They just do the weekly pay or biweekly. And then you can get as far as monthly. If you build up a relationship with them, take one loan and then you pay it back, then that's going to give you more favorable terms, cheaper financing fees for the second one. Because you've already built up that relationship, you're going to be less risk to them. And then also you're going to get more favorable terms as far as higher limits, longer payback period. So it's going to be shorter, like instead of being a 3-month loan, it could be a 6-month or 12-month loan. You just have to build up that initial one. So that's why, even though they say unlock up to 250,000, even though I'm friends with the founder, I know firsthand experience with them and talking to the founder and seeing what my students have got, they don't really approve very high. Not saying they won't, but I think the highest they've got, I think I want to say it's like 75,000 of one of my students. But it seems like a majority of them range anywhere. The bulk of them are like around 20,000, 15, 20,000, some 30,000. So that's that one. And then they have the lines of credit. It says express entrance because it's not really available now, but it is available. I think you just have to actually apply. I think they need to update this. This is one of my old landing pages they put together for me. I think that needs to have an apply now button. But anyways, you can see like the benefits. They give cashback rewards, which is great. Unlike others, they give you a cashback rewards. So say you take like a $10,000 loan from them and you pay on time. This is why they're considered a financial technology company, because they're offering something different than just a standard business loan. So like you can see here at Loot, we believe in celebrating your success. Earn rewards for on-time repayments. So they're giving you cashback rewards, say 3 on-time payments, then they're going to give you like some type of statement credit or cashback. It may not be a lot, but hey, at least they're valuing you as their customer. They want to keep you. And then they allow you, if you pay on time, then you can earn free skip payments. So you're not going to get free payments, but say 1 week or 1 month or whatever, you've paid on time and then you've had a relationship with them. So just say things are a little tight this week or this month or something. So you can actually just skip the payment. So you just let them know if you have one available, you can skip until things get better for you or whatever. So that helps out with the businesses that are running on a budget and stuff. and then level up to unlock, reach the next level by hitting milestones like consecutive payments, revenue growth, and improved cash. So as your business is getting more successful and stable and you're paying back, then they're going to basically give you more available credit and improve terms as well, because you're building that trust up. That's all it comes down to. All these financial companies, they want to give you the money. They just have to mitigate their risk, but they want to give you more and more, because the more they give you, that's how they make the most money. They don't benefit much by just like servicing a loan for $10,000. They much rather give you a $50,000 loan than 10,000. But they also need to mitigate their risk, especially when they're the actual direct underwriter. It's self-funded between a few partners or putting in a couple $1 million in servicing these loans. Anyways, pay off early and save. So Loot offers industrial leading early payment discount for revenue-based products, so you can comfortably use to cover the really short-term gaps for working capital. So say you just need, like, you're waiting for an invoice or something, so a client to pay, but you need a quick $15,000. That'd be perfect. And you don't have to worry about paying an arm and a leg. So some of these merchant cash advances or revenue-based factoring, they charge a lot sometimes, and there's no prepay, like you don't get any prepayment discount. So if you borrowed 100,000 and the term of the loan or whatever merchant cash advance is over, say, 6 months, and you have to pay back 140,000, even if you paid it off early a month, like you only used it for a month and then you want to pay it all off, usually they only give you like some don't give you any discount. You have to pay it. It's going to be the same if you paid early or not. But then some of them, they'll give you very minimal, like 1 or 2 points off for paying it early. But with them, they actually give you a bigger discount off of the points. So now what you need, the requirements: 6 months in business. You have to be operating for at least 6 months to qualify. Now, I was told this: if you've been in business for 5 months and you have good personal credit and you have good business credit, or you have good revenue coming in, then it's not a flat, strict 6 months. So if it's 5.5 months, 5 months, you might be able to still qualify. Like I said, the link will be in the description below. The worst thing you can do is it's not a hard pull at all. But anyways, you need 25,000 in annual sales. So that could actually be like, it's not like it has to be an overall annual. You could be in business 6 months and say you've only done the first couple months, you only did 2, 3, 4,000 a month. But then say the last 2 months you had 10,000 and 15,000 or something. They look at it as a whole, especially the last 3 months. This is going to be what's factored in the most. But it doesn't have to be like steady every month. Doesn't, you could have like one good month and then one bad month and up and down. That's fine. Is really what it comes down to. As long as you average like $2,200 coming in per month, that's really like their minimum threshold. Now, if you're only earning that low amount, then don't expect them to give you 30, 40, 50,000. You're probably only qualify for maybe 5,000 or 7,000 or something. But again, like I said, you can use one credit line to leverage to get other credit lines too. That's where like my mentorship really does shine the most, is the strategic methods. So anybody interested, just text the number below for a free consultation at 937-423-9954. Anyway, so yeah, there's no minimum FICO. We have financing options for all credit profiles, and there's no minimum FICO required to apply. I know this firsthand because I have a couple students that have, like, I won't name any names, but they have a 520 to 550 FICO score, and they got approved recently. Not for super high amounts. I think one was like 12,000, another one was like 8,000. They definitely, if you can't get approved through them, I guess I've had people get denied because they were too successful even. I have one student that has 150,000 in the business bank account and he does e-commerce and stuff. He got denied, but he got denied because he's too successful. That's not their clientele. They're not trying to get, that's not really their demographic. So they rather loan out, say, 20,000 to 5 businesses rather than give one business 100,000, if that makes any sense, because it's mitigating risk as well. it's less likely that 5 are going to default than just one. So anyways, you just apply. I'll have, again, the link in the description below, and I'll probably cut this video, this live stream up, and actually use this for a standalone video too for this. But like I said, they have the line of credit. You basically apply, and then based on that, you'll hear back probably within 24 hours on a decision. But make sure you use my link in the description below, because then you can reach out to me if you don't hear back, or say it's a denial or it's a low amount. Reach out to me, support@joshvanhorn.com. The link is in the description. Email address is in the description below. Reach out to me after you applied. Let me know you applied, and I'll look for your name, and I'll reach out on Slack to the founder and Veronica. She's the lead over there, and I'll see if I can do anything for you at all. So that's that. And then what was the other thing I was wanting to cover? Yeah, let me go over we'll get to Sam's Club and Synchrony here in a moment. But for anybody, like I said, interested in my business credit mentorship, just text the 937-423-9954. I think I currently have 54 or 55 currently enrolled students, and some are on 12 weeks, some are on 16. That's why a couple spots just opened up. Some are on 26 and 52. Majority are actually on 16 weeks though. I have several students here right now in this live that are my current active students. But anyways, you'll just go here to the link, clear credit, but you don't do this until I tell you to do it after we had a consultation, because like I said, I'm picky on who I accept, and when you do a phone consultation first. But anyways, what you do is you're going to just register your business name, your name and email address, and that's it. You don't need to worry about website or comments. You hit submit, and then it's going to ask you to create your password. Then after that, only after I approve it, like we figured out if you're on a payment plan or one-time payment, we figured everything out from the phone consultation. Then I will approve your account on my back end. And then this is where you're going to fill in. This is the first page you're going to see. Intake form, step 1. You're going to put in your business name, your business address, and your business industry. And then you're going to put your EIN. The reason why I need the EIN is because I'm a data furnisher for Equifax and Credit Safe. So that's the way that I can attach to make sure that the trade line as the business service mentorship is reported to them to the correct profile business account. And then I also need it for the audit. So all this information I'm asking here is so I can do the audit, so I can see if there's any problems, I see any errors or mistakes. That's why I do this. I do a full audit, and it takes usually like less than 24 hours. I get that done. I assign custom tasks to you to do immediately. Even you signed up, say tonight, I would, before I even do the audit, I'm going to assign some foundation steps that I already know you probably don't already have done, or you haven't done. It's rare that I have anybody have some of these tasks even already done. But anyways, you're going to put your business phone number, because I'm checking the secondary databases and third-party data warehouses that hold any of these datas. So I'm checking what other underwriters would potentially be looking at and looking for, and see if you lack, or see if there's mix match information. If there's anything like lacking or mixed, or I see any red flags, or lacking rich filmographic data on the reports, then that's what I'm putting together in the initial audit, and we get those corrected the first week of the mentorship. I'm asking if is it a virtual address? If it is at Regis, Opus, Anytime Mailbox, who is it? I need to know these things. Again, during the audit, I'm looking for any potential problems. So if there's problems, we get them fixed. I don't like to fix problems once I find them out months down the line in the mentorship. It's better for us to fix them now. So then by week 6 or week 8 into the mentorship, we're starting to get really good approvals. And then like business start date, you're just going to put like your business start date calendar there. Your current business bank balance, that's just for me to know how healthy your business is. And you can put 0, whatever it is. I just ask that so I can have an idea if I'm going to have you apply for certain fintechs, because I know thresholds, like with say Ramp, you're going to need at least 50,000 in the business bank account to be able to apply for Ramp. Versus Debbie, you could have a couple $1,000s in there and get approved. So that's why I'm asking for the business bank balance. I don't ask for socials or anything like that, business owner's name, business owner's address, like personal address, owner's cell phone, and the owner's FICO score. This can be a range. It can just be broad. If your score's around 5 or say 650 or 700, just put like it. I don't need to know exact. If it's 653, just put 650. And then email address and your website address. Again, why I ask for these things is because I need to know so I can make sure I'm looking for any potential problems that underwriters would see or frown upon. And we need to fix those red flags if we can. Then I'm asking if you have NAV Prime, NAV Boost, eCredible, Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, Credit Safe. I'm asking these just so I can get an idea of everything. The more information I know from when we start the mentorship day one, that's how I can make it very successful for you. I want all my students to be successful. So that's why it's vital for you to be upfront, honest with me during the consultation call. So if I do approve you for my one-on-one business credit mentorship, then I get to see the whole picture of everything. And if you're completely transparent with me, then I can make sure that I'm going to put in my best effort because I know everything that you were transparent with me, and I know exactly what we need to go after and get or fix, just so we have the best chances for approval odds. Like I said, I don't really have any of my students apply for something unless I'm like 80% or higher confident that you're going to get approved the first time. So that's why sometimes it's a slow process during the mentorship. That's why I only offer 12 weeks minimum and it goes up to 16, 2652. I don't offer the 1 month mentorship that I used to offer. And that's because there's a lot of things that I see that there's problems and we need to get those updated. And business credit is not federally regulated. So sometimes it takes time to get things updated with the bureaus. Sometimes they're quicker than others. So that's why we get it all done the week one. I have some students, they get approvals the first week, and I have others that it takes 4 or 6 weeks to start getting approvals. But pretty much all my students, they really start getting a lot of multiple approvals weekly after about 6, 7 weeks in. And that's just because the first month really is a lot of foundation. I do have you apply for things the first week. However, a majority of the good approvals with the high limits and stuff like that, basically like the cream of the crop, those happen later, even for new or established businesses. Those happen once we already basically get you ready for the underwriters. I'm basically painting the picture, helping you paint the picture. So the underwriters, when they are doing manual underwriting reviews, you're going to get approved. You're going to look like bigger than you are. We've done everything possible we can do. It doesn't matter if you're pre-revenue or you have revenue. It doesn't matter. I'm going to help you look bigger than you are so you have a better chance for approval overall, Anyways, you just put a brief summary. It's not required, but if you want to put down what you've already done, if you've already tried to get, say, some office supplies or Red Spectrum, whatever, put down, tell me anything you've done. The more, like I said, help me help you. You need to tell me what you've done much as possible so then I can help you get approvals and help you build up that business credit. I'm not a mind reader, so you need to let me know everything as much as possible. And then short-term and long-term business credit goals. So what do you want in the next, say, 30 to 90 days? And then what's your 6 to 12 month goal? And then provide your username. This is optional, but I've never had any student that doesn't provide it. But mainly I need your Experian business login. If you have it, if you don't, then I will assign it to you and your NAV. And that's just so I can make sure everything is reporting properly and everything. And then you can drop any files. If you want to send me a screenshot of your PDF file or any reports, you can feel free to do so. And then you hit submit. Then after that, you're going to see tasks to do. And then this is going to be the tasks. I don't assign this many. These are just like, this is a demo account, right? But say, for instance, this is Navan. To use Navan, it used to be Trip Actions, and they offer a corporate card. You attach your bank account. So then I put in a link here, what to do, the steps. So this is the tutorial that I put together for that particular credit line. So you're going to see here, you're going to go to this link. That's the first step. And you're going to see here where, let's go back to the instructions real quick. So you can see I did a screenshot. You're going to click get started. And then after that, you're going to put in your business email address, continue with email, and then you need to do your email verification. I don't want to bore you guys with this, but I go through all the steps for some of the tasks that I have you do or the credit lines. I'm showing you exactly what you need to do step by step. Set up reimbursements, add the corporate card, and then you can see here that you can see the other options. It will show more options, and that's where the corporate PG card will be. So that's what's in, say, here in the client portal. If I assign this task to you, then I'll either tell you detailed instructions. It'll be like 1 or 2 paragraphs long, and will tell you what to put in the certain fields, or I'm going to give you a scribe how tutorial that only my students get this. Nobody else really sees this. And then say revenue flex line, like this one, I give you the link for this one and basically telling you about what it is, why I'm telling you to apply for it, what the requirements are. And I'm telling you why I want you to apply for it. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to have you definitely do this. This is just like a demo account. Like this one's for e-commerce. It's called Parker. It's a FinTech Parker credit card line. And they actually offer repayment up to 60 days, but it's a FinTech. There's no financing fees. And I break down all about it and then why I want you to get it as well. And then, for instance, if you need to get a website, I'm going to tell you what to do with the website. And you don't have to use this one. I'm just telling you also what I noticed your website. If you have a current website and it's lacking the filmographic data, like for your citation, then as you can see here, I'm telling you, make sure, see, if you already have your own website already built, and it doesn't have the format in the footer like this, like ABC Company LLC and the address, this type of format, telephone, and email. If you don't have it this format, then I'm going to assign it to you and tell you to either get your website updated, or if you need help with the website, then you just click creditjosh.link/website. All right. And then the citations. If you don't want to do the citations yourself, then there's a service here, and that's going to be a Bright Local. This is Bright Local. They'll do the citations for you, and it's only $2 per citation. But again, like I said, you can do these citations yourself for free. Just take some time. Let me see here. So like Amazon Net 30, telling you how to get the Amazon Net 30, the PEX commercial visa, telling you how to go about applying for that. Merchant Circle, for instance, like go to Merchant Circle, sign up, verify your listing, because underwriters do look for these things. So I guess what I want you guys to understand is like client portal, my mentorship is not just about getting approvals. It's about how to get the approvals. And I cover all of that, like everything that you need to do. And every week I'm going to assign anywhere from 5 to 7 custom tasks for you to do. And then at the bottom, let's use this for example, the Wayfair Pro Capital Card, right? And this is no PG offered by Capital One Trade Credit. But at the bottom, after you apply for the Wayfair, then you're going to put down here at Credit Josh. Josh, I got approved for the Flex Pay card 5,000. Then you're just going to hit post. And then that's going to tell me, well, because every week I do audits on all my students to see what they did and what new tasks, typically on Sunday or Mondays when I assign the new tasks. Based on what the tasks that you did do, the initial, say 5 to 7 tasks that I assigned you week 1, based on what the outcome of those were, and then you're going to hit mark done. You see here how it says mark done. You're going to hit mark done once you're done. If it's something pending, 7 to 10 day message, whatever the outcome is, you need to put down there, even if it's pending, and then you heard back, say 2 days later, you need to come back in the client portal and say, Josh, they came back, they approved me for $19,000 or whatever, if it's say debit card or something. So communication is key with my mentorship. I can't help you be successful if you're not going to be communicating with me. Don't just hit mark done. You got approved, but you don't tell me, and just hit mark done. And then you contact me like, hey, you didn't assign new tasks to me. No, I'm not going to assign new tasks if I don't know the outcome of those initial tasks. Every week, you need to let me know the outcome of every single task, because there is a process, and I do things in a sequence matter. I can only help you be successful if you're doing it the same way I did it for my businesses in the past. So I know what works, and that's the process we're going to do things. And it doesn't matter if you're new or established. Like I could assign to you, say, NAV or eCredible. If I assigned it to you week 1, even though you already have it, that's what you need to put in the comment section. Josh, I've had NAV for the last 45 days, or I had NAV for the last 6 months, or whatever. You need to let me know. So anyways, based on that's pretty much it on that. Can you guys hang on 1 second? I just need to go to the bathroom real quick. It's been 3 hours, but after I'm done with this, well, I'm pretty much done with this. We're going to go on to the Sam's Club, No PG, and Conoco, Synchrony, pretty much all the Synchrony lines. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. It looks like we lost 5 people. Anyways, I'll go through this real quick, but yeah, anyways, so anybody interested for the one-on-one business credit mentorship? You guys saw this demo that I just broke down. If anybody is interested, like I said, just text me. Even tonight, you can text me. I'll probably still be doing consultation calls for at least 3 more hours after this live. It's afternoon here in the Philippines. It's almost lunchtime, 12 hours ahead Eastern Standard Time. It's 11:22 a.m. right now. But anyways, like I said, communication is key. And then we go from there. But yeah, just text the 937-423-9954. I have payment plans available too for my mentorship. Like I said, they go from 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 26, and 52 weeks. The majority of my students are on 16 or 26 weeks. And I have, I think, 4 or 5 spots open now. Anyways, let's get over to Synchrony real quick. Synchrony as a whole, Underwriter. So I'm not necessarily going to cover these in a particular order, even though I said that, but it's not necessarily in a exact order. One thing I can tell you is all Synchrony lines that we're going to be talking about right now, they all are going to be either pulling one of 2 bureaus, Experian or Equifax. And I'll tell you which ones are going to be Equifax, which ones will be Experian. Even though they're all underwritten through Synchrony, but certain ones pull Experian, like the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard. It's a commercial card. It's financially related. So that's pulling, Synchrony pulls Experian business credit for that. First, the Lowe's, that's a Net 55 card, Lowe's for Pros, commercial card, they're pulling Equifax. And then the gas card, ConocoPhillips, this one, they actually some mainly pull Experian, but they have pulled Equifax. It's hit or miss, but for the most part, it's going to be Experian. Those are the 2 main ones for Experian. But Equifax, so Lowe's is Equifax and Floor and Decor is Equifax. Yeah, so this is Floor and Decor. Let me see here. Let me pull it up again. So if I were you and you never had a relationship with Synchrony, it doesn't matter on the personal because it's 2 separate divisions. It doesn't matter. But basically, the particular order, I wouldn't apply for any of these unless you have at least 3 trade lines probably on either Equifax or Experian. And definitely wouldn't apply for Sam's Club MasterCard unless you have at least 6 on Experian and you have at least 3 months data on Experian report, not NAV Experian report. If you're really going to take this serious and try to get a high limit with Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard, then you really need to get a Business Advantage account over at smartbusinessreports.com/Brex. Have that premium account. Like I said, it's only $99 with a discount link like that. But you need to make sure you're Experian. Don't prematurely, like everybody else does, prematurely apply And then you get the denial reason, business information is unverifiable. So I would say the two easiest accounts to get with Synchrony would be the JCPenney's is by far the easiest. So you can put in the information there. Now you will see that it's going to ask you for your social. That's normal. But actually this one, I don't believe asks you. Let me see here. No, this one doesn't actually ask you for social at all. Now you'll see at the bottom, it says, I agree to be a personal guarantee, or I do not wish to personally guarantee. Now you'll see it'll say your business meets the following category: annual revenue less than 2 million, less than 10 employees, incorporated less than 3 years. Those are just like suggestions or whatever. But like I said, I got approved for this only being in business like 3 or 4 months and got approved for it. I didn't have any of those requirements, but I had strong Experian report. I don't want to say strong because I really didn't have, I think I had NAV and one other trade line reporting at that time, but I had rich filmographic data. That's what I'm always talking about, building up that rich filmographic data. Key personnel, website address, email address, providing the extra data. It does really help you get approvals. And the secondary databases too, getting listed, like Merchant Circle, the citations, national database, telecom databases. So this one's like by far the easiest to go after. But this is what a lot of people get denied because they don't listen to me on this. Estimated monthly spend usage. I wouldn't put more than $2,000 to $3,000 max. If your business has been in business for a while and it's very healthy, you could put 5,000. But it's like, how much are you really going to spend with that card, anyways? What's nice about JCPenney's, you can get 30% off having the commercial account. You get 30% off. What's that here? I guess it doesn't matter. You guys know I have that card. But anyways, I would put just a rule of thumb, maybe $2,000 to $3,000. That's it. Especially if you're a newer business. And then just put statement of account. Statement account where you get the actual physical card. And then you put down how many cards. You could just get like 2, even though there's not many JCPenney's locations. But what's nice about it is, like, if you have an Amazon FBA account, you can liquidate, find a good product, higher end product, so you don't have to wait forever to get the funds off of it. Like I did with BlendTech blenders. I bought blenders for $300 on JCPenney's with the commercial account discount, right? 30% off, and it was already clearance. So I spent a couple hours finding a product. And then once I found a profitable product that Amazon sells for high, they're selling for $579. I listed it with Amazon for $578, undercut by $1, shipped them to Amazon. Amazon covers everything. And literally they were sold in like less than 3 days. Sold, and it was the quickest like $1,800 profit I ever made. Took maybe 4 hours my combined time, and I did it being here in the Philippines. So it's not that hard. With my mentorship, I teach these type of strategic methods. Do you have to do this? No. It was just, I was trying to figure out how to actually liquidate a card one way or another to pull some cash off of it and to build up that interbanking relationship with Synchrony. You want to hurry up and pay them back, so then you can get limit increases, and that works to get that Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard at a high limit. But yeah, so I wouldn't put more than like 2,500 or 3,000. You can always get limit increase if you want to use it or later or so. So then you just hit submit, and that's it. That's easy for that one. Now, next easiest one would be the commercial. This is the only revolving commercial card, gas card, really in existence that I know of. And you can see the application is almost identical to the other one, the JCPenney's. Now this one asks a little bit more information about you personally. And that's just because it's a gas card, and that's because of the Patriot Act 9/11. So you want to try to match this as much as possible because they are going to be looking at your Experian for this one. So you want to try to match it much as possible to what Experian has on file. Now, these are station numbers. So if you have one nearby you, if you have a Phillips 66 or Conoco or a 76, just call a local station. They used to have a link here, though, that you could you might want to just Google service station, and you can actually look that up on their main website, or you can just call a local one. If you know a 76 or a Conoco or Phillips 66 nearby you, you just call them even in the middle of the night, ask them, hey, what's your station number? And they'll give you like a 4 to 6 digit number. And that's what you want to put in there. If you don't put one in there, you could get denied just because of that. So that's just to attach. It doesn't mean you need to even go to that station. That's just, they still have an outdated system, the way that they have, what do you call it? They still have franchises. I know there's a 76 nearby me that I never even knew it's a 76, but it's a very old station in Greenville, Ohio, or in Akron, Ohio. But when I looked it up, they were a 76 station, but it's like Maggie's refill station. It's like an old fashioned station. But I think that's so they give you that station earns or something if you're always using the commercial account there. And you'll get 2 cards. You get like an orange one that you can leave at the station. If you have your employees go, they can go there without a card, or they'll give you the actual physical card here. But it's not like a MasterCard or anything. It's just a actual card. But see how this is saying personal guarantee. So see how it's grayed out? It won't let you put in your social security. And that's because I'm not agreeing to the personal guarantee. So same thing as the other one. You're going to agree, except just make sure you put in all the correct information here. See how it says like end station cards? That's the orange cards. They're orange. You can just put one because those are the ones, like I said, end station will be delivered to the primary account holder. The primary account holder is responsible for delivering their end station cards to where it'll be kept and accessed by. So it's basically like an employee card, but the station keeps it on file with them. So that's one of the reasons why they have the service station number, because if it's like the same station, you're going to use all the time. But you can use it anywhere. I don't want to say anywhere, but any Phillips 66, Conoco, or 76. And there's a couple other smaller name ones too. But it's revolving, and that's good. I haven't really found a way to liquidate this one per se, but I'm sure there's possibly a way. But this one's to build up that banking relationship. Wanted to give you Experian trade line. Even if you don't use it, it will give you an Experian trade line right away. Updates on the 2nd of every month. But it's helping you get to that next level. So many of you guys are trying to get the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard. Next one would be, I would say it's between Lowe's and Floor & Decor. So if you already have, say, the JCPenney's approval, I would say you could probably go ahead, if you already had that approval, go ahead and apply for the Lowe's commercial account holder account card. This one, it's like I said, it's no PG, and you get net 55 days. And I believe you get 5 or 10% discount as well for the commercial account holding. And the application is going to be very similar to the Floor & Decor. We don't need to go over the application, but I will tell you, don't be greedy about what you're asking. You get denials because if you put too high, you can get denials. You want to get automated approval as much as possible. And then if you get the pending message, you got a reference number, don't just wait for it. Call them, look up the number. I give all this to my students in the mentorship. Numbers to call if they get, say, denied or 7 to 10 day message, reconsideration line, and I tell you the verbiage, what to say to them. So they likely will approve you based on that information I gave you if you don't get the instant decision. But like I said, I would go after the Floor & Decor. And with this one, it's paid over time. So that's good. Let's see here. Yeah. See, you just hit apply now. And you'll notice like Lowe's is the same way as this one. The application's almost identical. They do ask you for a Dun & Bradstreet number. It's optional, although they don't pull Dun & Bradstreet as their primary. But see how it says requested credit line? Don't put with this one. I would say with Lowe's and Floor & Decor, put around, I would say anywhere from 3,500 to 7,500, somewhere in that ballpark. Because this is considered a little bit higher than the JCPenney's one. So if you can get this one and you already get 2 other, say the Conoco card and JCPenney's, and then you get either the Lowe's or the Synchrony, try to get them all. But say you don't get them all and you just get 2. That's going to put you in a pretty good situation to be able to go apply for the Sam's Club. So you need to already have a Sam's Club membership, but you can apply for it, I believe, online now. Can't verify the 100%, but you want to go ahead and get the membership though, because if you go hit apply now, then it's taking you to log in. You put your membership number. Back when I got it, I already had a membership. And then I got it before I even started. So I don't know how it actually is. This has actually just happened in the last 2 months. They didn't have an option where you would even be able to apply. It would say go in store. But in store is probably still the best option. That's what I tell my students. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is you want to start with JCPenney's, then the ConocoPhillips, then Lowe's or Floor and Decor, then Sam's Club. But don't do them all back to back. You could do 2 in 1 month. You could probably even do 3 in 1 month. If you get 2 approvals, you could go after a third. But if you get like denial at JCPenney's, don't try to go any further, because if you can't get JCPenney's, it's going to be hard to get any of the other ones. JCPenney's I found to be the easiest. You guys get any final questions in the comment section? I'll get to those in a moment because we're about finished here. Now I'll try to break this down for those that just came in. I'm going to try to break this video down with my video editor into like maybe 5 different sections, and I'll re-release it. So you guys can just watch the parts that you want in different chapters. So you guys don't have to listen to 3.5 hours. But the key thing I'm trying to point out to you guys is you want to build up. Everybody's always telling me, oh, I want to get the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard, because you can really get up to almost a $30,000 limit. Mine, I think, is $27,500. But my initial limit was like 18, I believe, and then it got increased to like 18.5. Now it's 26 or 27.5, one of the two. You need to build up that interbanking relationship. That's what I'm preaching here, okay? But combined limits, what you could potentially have with all these, you could have 50,000 available just by these 4 accounts, maybe even more than that, because if you're in construction or rehabbing, remodeling, things like that, Floor and Decor and Lowe's, like I rehabbed 3 houses, those duplexes that I bought with the gas cards. I utilized the hell out of the Lowe's card. I got that limit up to almost $20,000, just that account alone. And I made videos about it in the past. You guys can see like how I kept on doing the limit increase every single month, and the verbiage I used to call up and tell them why I need the limit increase. But really, since Floor and Decor is fairly new with Synchrony, because before it was underwritten through Community. But if you're in like construction or flipping houses or whatever, Floor and Decor is good for like tiles and like chandeliers, like things like that. And you get revolving buy now, pay later kind of terms, right? Lowe's, you have to pay back within like basically 2 months. But why it's important for you to take care of Synchrony and get a good relationship with them, forget about the business credit part of it, even though they all report. But they're always adding on new credit lines. Like they do one with Alibaba. If you're going to import things from China, you can get a line of credit and that can be financed as well. But if you're in like rehabbing homes or into real estate or whatever, just think about it. What you could do if you had Floor and Decor, like a $10,000, $15,000 Floor and Decor revolving term card. Then you have Lowe's, say 10, 15,000 to buy flooring like I did. I bought the fake hardwood floors from Lowe's and new toilet bowls and kitchen counters, but cabinets. But if you had 10, 15,000 from there, and then you have a gas card, and this is just in a perfect world, obviously. And then JCPenney's to furnish it. You could buy little things when you go to furnish the house or something if you're doing rentals. And then you have the Sam's Club card. Potentially, you could get all these cards within, say, 3 to 6 months, right? Maybe even in 1 month, depending on your business credit profile. But say you don't really have any other business credit approvals right now or credit lines. But if you got all these in anywhere from a month to say 3-4 months, then if you're doing flipping houses or so, these are the only thing you need. This will get you in the door because you have access to some cash to pay a contractor that you can just pull off the Sam's Club $30,000 limit that you have on there, and then buy materials from Lowe's, from the Lowe's card. And then you have Floor and Decor to do some furnishing and JCPenney's to do some furnishing. So think about it, combine it all together. A great starter, and then you can just flip that house, potentially flip it and have enough money to pay everything back in a reasonable amount of time. Don't be greedy if you're doing these flip and fix houses. Just make profit and move on to the next one. But that's going to get you from, say, point A to point B. And that's why when I do with my mentorship, I advise about these things. It's not just about business credit, but how to utilize the different business credit lines once you have them. And I just try to give you some ideas. You don't have to listen to me 100%. It's just I'm here to give you some advice. End of the day, I want you to be successful. So if you're not in rehabbing homes or whatever, still get the credit lines, because like work towards it. One, it's a good underwriter. You don't know what other business credit lines they're going to be offering. Things always change. Like Wayfair card could change, or the Walmart card is through Capital One, but it's no longer issued. I'm grandfathered into it, but that could be taken over by Synchrony. So you really want to build up that interbanking relationship. So get the cards, even if you only use them once every couple months or so, that's fine. But with Christmas coming up, there's a lot of things you could probably buy for a family member, dad or brother or sibling or something at Lowe's. And then you have Home Depot, or not Home Depot, but JCPenney's, plenty of things on there. And you get discounts with all these. And you're going to be spending it anyways, because most people buy Christmas presents for family members, right? So you could use business credit for that. Just make sure you have the money to pay it back to the business, so then your business can pay back that. But at least you're going to benefit on the business credit side and the interbanking relationship. Like I said, these are just strategic methods. Again, if you're interested in my mentorship, just text me now for a free consultation, 937-423-9954. I appreciate it. We can try to see if you'd be a good fit for my mentorship or not. But anyways, the links will be in the description below for most of what I've talked about, but I don't give the links exactly for Lowe's and all these credit applications. Like through Synchrony, you can just Google those. But anyways, let me go over the comments, and then we're gonna probably end here. It's already almost 4 hours. But don't worry, you guys, I'm gonna break this down and have my video editor splice it up. So I'll probably be releasing several videos tomorrow that are basically just snippets of the different chapters of this live. I know I covered a lot. This is like one of my longest live streams. Art. What are some good credit cards or vendor cards for nearly established business with no trade lines, PG, that don't report to personal? Too many to really name, and you're saying PG and no PG. There's too many to name. Depends what type you want. Do you want revolving or like the FinTech ones? Do you want to pay entrance on that? Yeah. Ask me more detailed questions. Send me an email, support@joshvanhorn.com. My email address is in the description. Just shoot me an email with the question more not so broad. Let me know what exactly in detail, like what's your goal or something, and then I can try to point you at least in the right direction. But if you don't have any trade lines, then regardless of what type of cards you're going after, I would say you should go and get the Fair Figure, sign up for Fair Figure, NAV, Prime, and eCredible. Everybody should do that. That's the very first thing I would tell any new or established business. If you don't already have those three, get them, because they really are a really good stepping stone that will get you, say, the JCPenney's approval. I can almost guarantee if you get those three, you will get the JCPenney's approval. Thank you. Okay, Joshua Israel. I haven't seen you before. Oh yeah, you just said you just came across. Appreciate it, you tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. That tells me to keep putting out more and more content, and especially tells me to keep doing more live streams more often. I'm really trying to get to the point where I do 2 or 3 live streams a week. That way, these live streams won't be like 4 hours long like this one is. But anyways, like I said, if you guys are like, just look, okay, all these cards, probably like 5-10 pounds of cards here. You don't get that by bullshitting people. To get that, you must know what the heck you're talking about. And that's the information I'm trying to put out here right now too, is to kind of make it so I don't have to keep repeating myself over and over. But stop focusing on the scores and stop thinking that every person on YouTube is like has your best interests at heart. They don't. A lot of them are in it for their own, just to get views for earnings and affiliate earnings. Not me. That's not what I do this for. I try to help people. And I do this also, like I said, to raise funds for a charity that's near and dear to me, the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. But I don't know, when you have approvals where you can actually show, I don't know, it's a little bit more credibility. The American Express green business card, Virgo, it's a fintech, Hilton, American Express, Business Blue Cash, Rex, Lowe's, Expensify, Fuelman, American Express Green Personal, Toolbox, it's another fintech, American Express Business Gold, Business BP, Divvy, Walmart, underwritten through Capital One, Trade Credit, A to B, Jeeves, really underrated fintech. That one's like 35,000 limit. Universal Premium Gas Card unlocked for multi-use. American Express, Marriott Bonvoy, Roadflex, Nether Expensify, 30,000 limit through my other business. The Carrot, get business credit card, fintech. Row, a lot of people don't know Row, but it's a very good fintech, over 50,000 on that one. Wax Fleet, that one's I only use for hotels, even though it's for gas. Capital on Tap, that's a good one too. Delta Reserve, Sky Miles. Coast Visa, gas card. Clear Card Visa. Ramp, Best Buy, and the one we were just talking about, the ConocoPhillips, American Express Platinum, American Express Plum. And that's only like a couple. And then, as you can see, I have my Centurion invite only black card. And that's only like literally like maybe 30% of the cards that I have. I'm just not going to bore you guys and go through, take another 5 minutes to go through them all. But anyways, I can tell you this, that yes, some of that is PG, especially obviously the American Express, but all the other ones were not PG, just the American Express ones. But I'll tell you, I got a lot of that pretty quickly. Brand new business, the first 6 months, I got a lot. And it just, once you get some approvals, once you start getting like 6 trade lines reporting on Experian, it's almost like everything that you apply after that, you're getting approved 90% of the time. It is a process, but you might get denied. And I'm not saying I get approved for every single thing that I apply for. No, I think I got denied for a couple of the Synchrony lines. I think Lowe's took me 2 times to apply, but then I turned the denial letter and I figured out what they actually were looking for. So turn denials into approvals. Don't just give up just because you get denied. But it's best if you can save time and not get denied the first time. And how you can do that is if you have either one listening to me or strategically doing it and with my one-on-one business credit mentorship. Anyways, let me see here. Josh, where are the links to the sites? What sites are you talking about? If you click the description of the live stream, you should see all the links of, like, say, the Get Loot, and most of the ones I talked about tonight are in there. There's a green checkbox and there's all the links. Use those links and it shows the promo codes too for any of the ones that have discounts. Who is better, Lowe's or Home Depot? I like Lowe's personally. It's easier to get, and Lowe's gives you 55 days to pay, and they give you discount. They give, I think, everybody 5% discount for their commercial Lowe's for Pros account, but then you can get like coupons where it's like 10% additional off. So you can get like 15% off, and that saves, especially if you're trying to buy an appliance. That's why I said, if even you can use business cards, even for your personal, as long as you have the money to pay it back to your business. Like, you're going to get a better deal buying, say, a brand new washer and dryer or a refrigerator at Lowe's using your commercial discount card. Plus, it gives you time to pay. But if you need one for your house or something, then upgrade or something, then just get it. And as long as you can pay it back, it's no problem, because that's how building up the inter-banking relationship. Plus, it is going to help maybe with your budget a bit, but just make sure that you have, don't abuse the business credit lines. I see that's the only downfall I would say with some of my students that I had, that what they do is they've never experienced so much credit. After a month, 2 months, they get so much business credit and then they abuse it, taking a girlfriend out to New York City steakhouse, spending $500 they didn't have. Then they go and buy other things on the business credit lines and they can't pay it back. And then they have nobody but themselves to blame for that, because then they get negative reporting. And it's hard to get things fixed once there's negatives like that. It's not like personal credit, because business credit is not federally regulated, you know? Yeah. And I could go on for hours upon hours. Fun on up. Incredible. Thanks, brother. Yeah, I don't know why you went. I would stay away from Capital One in general. Capital One is the worst. Like, they're the worst to deal with, anyways. Like, they pull all three bureaus, and there's so many better cards out there. I don't know why you want to get that Venture X so bad about. I don't know. Feel free to email me though, support@joshvanhorn.com, and give me a little bit more details, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. But Capital One is very strict, and their limits suck. I have almost an 840 FICO score. It fluctuates between 820 and 840. And most of my limits average anywhere from 20 to 40,000 limit on each card that I have on the personal side. And some no preset spending limits. But I'll tell you, I closed my Capital One card a long time ago, several years ago. I'm with them for so long, and they just give me a little 1,000 and then $200 increase, and give you a hard pull to do an increase. They either give you high limits or they give you a crappy limit, and then it's like hard to go up from there. And plus, they're just like difficult to deal with. It's just I don't like them personally at all. They're really considered subprime in my book, even though everyone has them, but they're like the Walmart of credit cards. There's so many other better options out there. And it depends if you want something for revolving. There's plenty of flagship cards out there that are 0% for, if you're going to carry a balance, 0% for 12 months, and that give you other perks as well. So it depends what type of perks you're looking for, if any, or what, you know. But I can tell you, I stay away from, with my mentorship with my students, I stay away from traditional cards. I can teach about those from the business and personal side, but I stay away from that when it comes to my students, unless they want advice on that. My whole thing is, let's try to utilize the no PG accounts and cards and think outside the box to leverage, to turn 10,000 into 100,000, or turn 100,000 into $1 million quick as possible by leveraging each other's credit. Not only say each other, but leverage each of your credit lines against kind of each other to make it so you can, like, I don't want to say stack, but in a sense, do that in a sense. The way I do things strategically with my students is, it's not like anything that anybody else is really even talking about or teaching, that's why I only offer it to my students, just because it can be easily abused, and either abused if you're not disciplined enough financially, or there's scammers and fraudsters out there that will ruin it for all the honest people like us. Anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in. I could ramble a lot longer and stuff. Do you need to use the same mailing address as your residential address? I don't know what you mean, but depends what type of business you have. It's better to have two separate addresses, but it's not always required, and it doesn't really hurt you if you have the same address as your home. It depends what you're trying to accomplish, though. If you're trying to get six figures or higher, then I would have a separate address. But depends. Just email me, support@joshvanhorn.com. What's the best ways to get credit card available, credit to cash? Again, I can't really put that out publicly. If you're looking on the business side, that's only available for my one-on-one business credit mentorship students. It's not that I don't want to put it out for free. I would like to put it out there for free. But if I put it out there for free, I know there's a lot of scammers that potentially are watching at all times, watching my content, and other channels turn around and copy my content and then put it on their channel, certain methods and stuff. And then next thing you know, the underwriter finds out about it, and then they shut down that certain loophole or whatever, or that strategic method. So then everybody that's doing it, and honestly, the bad guys ruin it for the legitimate people. So that's why I don't really put things out like that. I'm public on YouTube. It's only for my one-on-one business credit mentorship students. The bad apples ruin it for everybody else. But there's plenty of other ways to like liquidate cards that are the traditional ways, such as like Plastique or Melio. But it depends what card it is and stuff too. Does your driver's license need to match the address you put on credit cards? Are you talking about personal or business? Business, no, not necessarily, but it does help if it matches. But it, what's more important is what's on your credit report, personal and business, or LexisNexis even. A Sage Stream LexisNexis, that's important too. But if you, in a perfect world, you want to have everything match, of course. But you're gonna have more tougher time for traditional ones, such as a Capital One, if it doesn't match. Business side, it doesn't matter so much. But anyways, if anybody, like I said, I'm going to close this out. If anybody is interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I want to strategically build business credit up the proper way, then just give me a text at 937-423-9954. Again, it's 937-423-9954. And I have, I think, 4 or 5 spots open. I know since we've been on the phone since we've been on this live stream, I've had at least 30 texts from people wanting consultations. So just shoot me a text and we will do a consultation to see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one business credit mentorship. I don't accept the 90% of people that contact me just because I am picky on who I accept. Goals need to be aligned, and we need to both have like realistic expectations. Don't come to me and say, Josh, I want to get 2.4 million business credit like you got. I want to get that in the next 90 days. That's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how good your credit is. It's just not going to happen. Be realistic about your expectations. I have some students that get the first week, they've got 100, 200,000. And I have other students that they get $500. It just depends. And that's just in 1 week. But pretty much all my students, they get at least, I don't really give ballparks, but anywhere from 50,000 up to $1 million. It just depends. There's too many other factors that go into things. So I just avoid giving ballparks and stuff or figures, because there's just so many things I have to look at when I do the year audit about your business. That's the first thing I need to do. And then we take it from there. And then I have a better idea on things. But anyways, that is all. If you guys, I was just reading, does this come with a Discord or group chat? No, not a group chat. No. But like I said, the client portal does have an area where you can hit chat with Josh. And then you just make a conversation and you can do any questions and stuff. But I am working though on doing something. I don't, not necessarily Discord, but making a thing where all my students can be in communication with each other. It can help each other, you know, just to share experiences, things like that. That does help. So anytime, anyways, all that being said, you guys take care. I appreciate it. If you guys can please give the video a thumbs up, double check if you gave the video a thumbs up. It really does help with the replay and get the channel out further. Really trying to get the channel back on track since I took time away last year for my health and stuff. But and make sure you're a subscriber if you're not already a subscriber. Just sometimes you can think you're subscribed and you're not. So just hit subscribe and hit all notifications so you get alerted the next time. But anyways, this video will be available for replay, so feel free to watch the replay. And then I'm going to break it up for tomorrow into sections to make it easier, because it is 4 hours long. This is probably the second longest live stream I've ever done. Anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be possible. But I just wanted to, again, say thank you so much. Appreciate everything. You can post the offer here. What offer? About my mentorship? No, because I don't even go over pricing or anything and need to do the consultation first. I don't just put anything out there. Just I need to do the consultation. I don't even send the pricing and the overview to anybody until I approve you for the mentorship. After I do the consultation, once I approve you, then I send over the pricing and the instructions to register and everything. So, but I'm not saying you have to do the mentorship. It's not like perfect for everybody, but that's why I do the consultation first. But you can also follow my other content and build it up without the mentorship. You can still have success. Just make sure you follow the step by step. Even the boring videos that I have, follow those. The ones that have the lowest views are usually the best ones that I put out that give the best information, like the stuff that you need to really pay attention to, and don't skip these steps. Anyways, again, you guys take care and tune in for the next videos I'll put out tomorrow. Okay. And I have an interview with a CEO founder tomorrow that you guys should be able to tune in and see that tomorrow afternoon. All right. Again, you guys take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.